Hello, Final Fantasy Randomizer. My name is Hebbings, and I am joined in the booth by our co-host and co-creator of the Shrug to Speed program, Sir Linkalot. How you doing today, Link?
I'm doing great. Back at home this weekend from SGL last weekend, so it's been a fun week back. Last weekend was fun, but yeah, we get to teach some Mystic Quest now.
Yeah. Uh, After our little vacation and stint, also shout outs to everybody who ran into at SGL. Really great to see everybody. We're going to teach folks how to play the randomizer in a relatively quickened pace. Um, no promises on whether or not you'll be able to win next year's SGL after going through this program, but the hope is to at least bring you up to speed enough to where you feel comfortable participating in the weekly asynchronous races, or being able to showcase the game for a marathon, or doing a race showcase where else basically teaching you how to potentially play the game a little bit faster than what you might be normally used to. So let's go ahead and throw it over to our display here. And the first thing that you need to do to play the game is generate a seed. So we're going to go over really quick in this first stream, our inaugural broadcast here, how to generate a seed using the randomizer site. Some of you might be familiar with it, but some of you might not. So we just want to go over this really quick and give you an overview of how to generate a seed. So Link, you have the you have the controls. So go ahead and take the intro here.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over this. We'll also go while we're doing this. We're also gonna go over the week one flag, so you all know what we're running this week as well. It's gonna be a very simple flag set. Um, but the very first thing you need to do, obviously, you come to the website. You have a bunch of presets. This will decide what flags you have or not. I guess it's not bringing up the drop down menu. Oh, never mind. It's just slow. Okay, I was just like, it's not doing it. It's slow. Um, Is it? Or I guess no, it isn't bringing the drop down menu. Never mind. All right. Well, we won't be able to do the drop down menus, but that's okay. Um, we've got the preset selection. There are a bunch of options here: presets, beginners, the old flags from SGLs, anything else. Um, After you pick your preset, one of the most important things, obviously, is you need to have your Mystic Quest ROM. Uh, we're not going to tell you how to go get that because that would be illegal. But you need to go find a Mystic Quest ROM. If you want to know which ones you need, it's actually down here at.
All the way at the bottom.
Yep, it gives you some information on the ROM file. It's only compatible with North American in either version 1.0 or 1.11. It also gives you the checksum of the ROMs that you'll need. So find your ROM, confirm it's the right one, and everything's fine.
Your legally obtained ROM.
Yes, legally obtained ROM. You did not obtain this through illegal methods. Once you have the seed picked, or you've got your ROM selected, next thing you'll kind of do is you just kit roll seed a random amount of times. Once you have your settings to just give it a different seed number. That's pretty much it. Twitch
Yep,
stream is
your
a
flag.
minute or so. Okay.
Yeah. Your flag string there on the right hand side will change depending on what settings you change. So if you see that number now and it looks different after you go through and change all your settings, that's working as intended. That's how you share your flag strings. And if you create something you want to share with a friend, that's what you share to your friends to run the same settings that you did.
Yeah, don't send them the actual ROM you download from the website. That again would be illegal. So we keep this legal, everybody. Or just send them a
Yeah, I
link to
would
the
like to keep
webpage. That works too.
True. I would like to keep the Discord. It's a nice place.
Yeah, it is. But all right, next thing we're gonna actually go start getting into the actual settings that you can modify in each stage you're gonna run. First one's gonna be logic. There's three options for this. We've got friendly, standard, and expert. For week one, we're gonna be running friendly. If you want to know kind of what they do and you're not watching, you can mouse over the little question marks next to either logic or original, chess, everything like that. It kind of gives more explanation. This one does show up. So friendly is required items to clear a dungeon will never be placed in that dungeon to avoid double dipping, essentially. The big thing to note for this is Magic Mirror and the Mask are always going to be available before anything in Ice Pyramid or Volcano will be considered within logic.
And I guess
And
really
then,
quick to cover
yep,
what in logic means is um, essentially logic when we refer to, talking about logic, because we're going to say that a lot. Whenever we say something is in logic, it means that if you get an item, the game is expecting you to be able to utilize that item to go get another item. If you don't have an item, so let's say for instance, I don't have the mask yet, the game is not expecting me to go to Volcano to get my next item required for progression. That kind of check would be considered out of logic. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about in logic or out of logic checks.
Yep. The big differences between the rest is standard. Make sure that all the items are accessible, and when you're talking about getting from region to region, it's only using the coins, so you don't have to do any of the warps or the crest. Expert does include crest warping as part of logic, so you don't necessarily need the river coin to get to Fireberg area. You could find the Gemini crest and warp over there if you don't have crest shuffled from Aquaria. Other than that, so for this first week, we have a red box shuffle. That's pretty much it. All the red boxes are going to be in the normal locations. They're just going to have their content shuffled, or the NPCs in the battlefields are also included. It's either these ones only have two options: it's prioritize or include. If it's prioritize, actually some of them are exclude. NPCs in battlefields have exclude. If it's prioritized, there is guaranteed a critical item is there. Whether or not it's actually needed is another question, but something from the actual menu will show up with it, whether it's a weapon, armor, spells, a key item, something of that nature. If include is done, it could be. It might not be anymore, but it could be. And then if exclude is chosen, there will be items there, but it'll be you're just like seeds, cure potion, heal potion, or refreshers. And then kind of the big one that you're going to want to pay attention when you're looking at flags, when you're either making your own or just looking at a flag set somebody else has made, is Sky Coin mode. There are 4 different options for this. We have standard, which is Sky Coin gets found in a chest somewhere, plain and simple. We have start with, in which case you already have the Sky Coin. You don't need to go find it anymore. Makes the game a little faster. You have save the crystal, which you do need to go save all 4 crystals, and then you just automatically get given the Sky Coin. And then Shattered, which this is the Sky Coin fragments, which you might have seen if you were watching SGL at all, where Sky Coin gets split into 40 fragments, and you kind of choose how many fragments you want further down. Or I believe the actual, if I remember right, it gives you another drop-down box where you can kind of pick between low 16, mid 24, high 32, or a random amount. Anywhere between 10 to 38, you can really do.
Yeah, and I feel like Shattered's probably going to be the most popular of the coin acquisition methods when you see broadcasts, just because red chests produce dopamine in your brain, and man, does Shattered really give you a lot of red chests to open. And it gives players, especially racers, a lot more things to check. Things are more random variable wise without being too wild and out of control, so it's just a fun race setting to have on.
We will go over that more. Won't tell you exactly what the flag set is going to be, but we'll say one of the flag sets in the future, it is going to have Shattered Sky Coin, so don't worry. We will be teaching that as well. Other than that, in items, we've got Shuffle Brown Box contents. That's just, in this case, everything in the vanilla game is exactly where it was. So, like, if you know where the seeds are in Bone Dungeon, they're still going to be there. Cure Potions, all the brown boxes will have the same content as what they did in the original game. Random starting weapon. This is typically, I think I've never seen this really turned off. This just randomizes your weapon to start with. You still could start with the sword, but you might start with the axe, a claw, or the bomb. One of the two. And it will always be the level 1 weapon as well. You won't just start with like a dragon claw off the start. And then progressive gear. This is to where when you are finding weapons or armor, you will always find the tier 1 weapon first, into the tier 2, into the tier 3. Doesn't matter technically what chest you go to in which order. It's more just going to be like progressive claw. First one gives you the cat claw, whichever where the second one is gives you charm claw, and then third one gives you the dragon claw. This typically, depending on the rest of the settings, will increase the time a seed goes, because you start to find out that whereas the sword and the axe don't matter so much which tier you have, the claw and the bomb on the other hand, if you don't have something like max shortcut on or Doom Castle shortcut on, you pretty much kind of require the Dragon Claw and the Mega Grenade in that case. Do you have anything else you wanted to add, Headbanks, before we go to enemy settings?
Yeah, and for anybody who might not be able to understand what you're doing to get those tooltips to pop up, those are The little question marks are next to every single setting we're going over today. Those are your tooltips. And literally hovering your mouse over them should cause them to pop up. On mobile, I believe you should be able to tap them to get them to appear. So if you are generating a seed via mobile and playing on a mobile emulator, you should tap functionality should be there. If it's not working for you, we have a bugs and development room in the Discord. Let us know so Ham could take a look at that and hopefully get the mobile widget working. But I think we have that all ironed out for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. But all right, now we're gonna get some enemy settings. First things here to kind of you'll be looking at is your scaling. For week 1, we've got really nice scaling. It's just 50% to 100% on all enemies and bosses. So odds are the enemies you fight, they're gonna be a little easier to kill than what they were in vanilla. Might not be, but good chance they are.
Yeah.
Randomizer attacks, we're not doing that this week. We're trying to keep things extremely simple. As we go through the weeks, things are going to get more complex. We may or may not see Randomizer. You'll find out. But Randomizer, it does have several options. This is going to change the attack scripts of your enemies. They might have self-destruct. They might have duplication. They might have all sorts of crazy. They might have Dark King attacks. It's a grab bag, and it also depends on what setting you do as well. There's multiple settings. We've got balance, which just randomizes every attack, but that one does remove self-destruct and multiply, and only the Dark Castle's bosses can get Dark King attacks. Balance expert, same as balance, but enemies tend to get stronger attacks, and then chaos randomization, it doesn't care. Anybody can get anything. You can have a duplicating Dark King.
You could have a self-destructing Dark King.
You can also have a self-destructing Dark King. This is true.
Really quick, I did want to touch back on the ranges for anybody who might be a little confused. So the enemy scaling operates on a range value. So the left box cannot be a higher value than the right box, but it can be a matching value. So let's say you're just starting off and you're a little intimidated by fighting difficult enemies. You just want to kind of get a feel for the game. There is no shame in dropping the from box to 25% and then matching it to 25% on the to box. So that way, instead of a variable range for every enemy you encounter is going to be 25% of its vanilla strength. You could do the same thing with the boss range. That being said, if you want wildly variable statuses from enemy to enemy, you can also make that go from as low as 25% up to 300%. Fair warning, 300% in this game is no joke. Things will hit you like a Mack truck. It is very, very, very time consuming and difficult. So like, take that with a grain of salt. 300% is like for the people who have lots of time and patience on their hand and don't mind grinding to max value, like max level.
Yep. You will not see those on any of these flags, I promise. We are not doing that to you.
Correct. You probably won't ever see them in like a formal race just because anything that's going to be streamed, 300% is too much of a liability and could potentially tank a stream interest for viewers. So that's why you won't see it in a lot of marathons or races. It's just not like visually stimulating for an audience.
Yep. Okay. Other settings here, I would kind of talk about Randomizer, progressive Randomizer. Enemies of the same type will share the same attack pool. It just ensures that, you know, if the enemies look the same, the attacks are just shuffled between them. Shuffle resist weakness types. We'll get into this more later. I know we have this on one of our flags, so we'll kind of get into more what this is going to do, because it does change your mindset going into a seed significantly compared to if you're going in without this on. Enemy density, this one's kind of self-explanatory. How many enemies are there compared to the vanilla game? Typically, you're going to see this usually like 25, 50%. Usually don't see more than that, just because then it's just starts turning it in more of a slog than a fun race at that point. There's just too many enemies and too many fights. You might see density higher if the experience is lower, however, though, but we'll see. And then shuffle enemy positions. This makes sure that the enemies can be somewhere where they were not in the vanilla game. This is typically turned on, as if you played the vanilla game, enemies are typically put somewhere you can't get around them and you have to fight them. We want to go fast, so we move them out of the way most of the time.
Yeah, another flag where you're typically almost never going to see it turned off. I will say that there is some funny jank left in. It used to be that sometimes enemies would roll out of bounds, so literally outside of the map. That's been fixed. But that being said, there's still sometimes you'll see an enemy placed up in a location that's physically unreachable, or placed behind a chest that normally you could jump behind for laughs, but didn't really do anything. Sometimes you might see an enemy placed there. Those are fine. That's like not soft locking in any means, but if you see it, just kind of give it a chuckle. It's not anything that's broken. Ham knows about it. He just thinks it's funny. I honestly think it's hilarious too, seeing fish.
It's like the enemies are scared of Ben and the companion, so they just hide behind the chest where they can't get attacked. Simple as that.
Mostly the companion. Ben's just there, but yeah.
And then the last one, enemies, is progressive formations. This kind of changes that the formations. This is usually used typically if we're doing overworld shuffle to kind of ensure that everything in like the Forester region is still Forester region, even if you have, say, like Pazuzu's Tower in the very first one. So you're not trying to fight windy enemies at level 1 or 2. Few options. We've got disabled, which that's what we have. We've got by region strict formations come exclusively from the current region, whatever the map is. And then the by regions keep type formations will keep the original formation type and match with the nearest power level. So, well, we'll get into that later because I know we do have a map shuffle, and I'm most fairly certain we have that turned on to stop that from potentially happening.
Yep. And as we go through these changes week to week, we will take a little bit of time each one of these broadcasts to demo what has changed in this flag set, what to look out for, and how it works before we do the showcase. That way you guys know what settings we turned on, how they affect the randomizer, and then what to look for as we're doing our demonstration runs.
Yep. All right, we'll get to maps. First one is going to be Doom Castle. This changes how Doom Castle is going to lay out. We've got 3 options. We've got standard, where you have to defeat all 4 bosses and their floors to reach Dark King. This first week, we wanted to be kind of as close to vanilla as possible, minus the red box shuffle. So yes, there's Long Doom Castle. There is no boss rush or Dark King only in this case. We'll go through the floors to kind of teach you, hey, here's how you clear these floors in case there is a seed where standard is turned on. Boss rush, the floors are removed. You just have to fight the bosses. There's just a long corridor up Doom Castle. And then Dark King only, it's the same long corridor as boss rush, except you don't have any other refights in your way. You just go right up to the statue, and you can go fight Dark King. Next one is Doom Castle Shortcut. This turns on a little staircase where you would typically go into Focus Tower from the Forester region. You can go right into the start of Doom Castle. Depending on other settings, you might still need some items for Go mode, but this allows it to where you can kind of get there without having to go free max ship.
Yep, and it also turns on a shortcut on the first floor of Doom Castle to where you don't need Dragonclaw or Mega Grenades to get to this Skycoin door. So we'll show you when we have flags that have that turned on, but there's like a little bone bridge that you can hit from the shifting sand floor, and then there's grapple points / jump points that you can use to navigate all the way to where Skuller's Rex would be. And you can that way you can get there without Mega Grenades or Dragonclaw, and we'll show that off when we do that.
And then this is another one that's pretty much always on, is Tweak Frustrating Dungeons. Adds a few shortcuts on Ice Pyramid, adds some shortcuts on Giant Tree, and then Pazuzu's Tower. Staircases are devoid of enemies, regardless of enemy density settings. I don't think I've ever seen a flag without that turned on.
Yeah, if you want to turn it off, be our guest, but genuinely, it's such a huge quality of life improvement to the randomizer in general that almost no one ever turns it off.
Yep. Okay. Other than that, we've kind of got things that are turned off. Overworld Shuffle. This shuffles all of the locations on the overworld somewhere. We will be doing that later, so we'll go over that. Crest Shuffle. The crests themselves are shuffled, so where a Libra crest was, it might be Gemini or it might be Mobius. This has the effect where if you still have to go to max ship, you might not need Mobius crest to get to max ship anymore. You might need Gemini or you might need Libra at that point. You won't know until you find it. That's the fun part on top of that, too. And then Map Shuffle. This is referring specifically to the dungeons. If you were watching Speed Gaming Live, you saw Dungeons Internal, where all of the dungeons floors were shuffled with each other, but that's what this does. You can also do Dungeon Mixed, where the dungeons floors get mixed up upon themselves. Or everything where the dungeons, temples, town floors, everything gets shuffled within each other. All chaos.
Yeah, I don't think we touch on dungeon mixed or dungeon or everything in this flag set. You will see a dungeon internal in the program later on. The last two, though, are very time intensive and like usually require notes. So they can be done for races. We've done them for races in the past, but they are really something that you kind of need to practice and take notes for. So beyond this program, please experiment, have fun with that. You'll probably see a couple async weekly seeds that have that turned on. But for this program, we're not touching on it just because most of the time, ever since Dungeon Internal was put in the game, put in the rando, we haven't really done races outside of that setting because it's so fun, because it's just the right amount of randomness without needing to take notes.
Yep. Okay, we're kind of getting to the end now. We've got companions. This is all the settings that are going to affect your companions. You can choose what companion you want to start with or random. We're starting with none in this one. You can do random. Random is like one of the 4 companions, or random plus none, where you might not start off with a companion. You can also select which companions will be available. It is kind of random. If you do, 1, 2, 3, or 4, it's not just if you do 3, Ruben's gone. If you do 2, then it's Ruben and Tristram. It's you pick 3 and it just kind of randomizes and pulls somebody out of the pool at that point. They're still there in the sense that you can get items from them and you can do their checks. You just can't have them in your party anymore.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and how that impacts, because I think we have I forgot, I didn't like super look at the section when you made the flag set. Do we have any that have any of the companions turned off?
I don't know. I'd have to check. I don't know if we did, just to kind of keep it open. But
okay. Well, to talk about that interaction real quick, if a companion's not available to run in your party, how that works is when you talk to a companion, normally they join your party. If they're not available, what they'll do instead of joining your party is then move to their next check location. So let's take Phoebe, for example. When you find Phoebe in Libra Temple, if she's not available to be in your party, when you talk to her, she'll move to Wintry Cave. After you talk to her in Wintry Cave, she will then move to Windia, and there you can talk to her again if she has a check, which she doesn't, but that's where she will sit.
Yeah, I'd say the big one to notice when it comes to checks would be like Tristram and Kaylee would be the big ones that actually have like checks. Phoebe does have the one in Wintry Cave, but the other ones have like multiple checks behind them. Tristram has the one within Bone Dungeon, then he has the one in Fireburg, which we'll be going over, and then Kaylee's got the one after you beat the Minotaur, as well as talking to her in the inn in Windia when she's up there, or just getting there if you have her
Correct.
in your party.
And Ruben, thankfully, is easy. He's a homebody. You talk to him, he goes to the mines, and then he goes straight back home.
Yeah, Ruben doesn't like to leave anywhere. We're not doing it here, but you can shuffle the companions' locations. It's standard here, but you can shuffle them amongst themselves, or you can do shuffle extended, which adds all of the temples, Phoebe's house, and Rope Bridge as possible locations for where the companions might be. This can potentially make the game harder. It can make some companions a lot more difficult to get to as well. So keep that in mind. I know typically when we see them in race settings, if we do like shuffled or shuffle, especially shuffle extended, usually we have it where you are starting with a companion. Because that's the one thing with this game is Ben isn't very strong, especially at the beginning. It can be really hard to get off the ground if you don't have a companion.
Correct.
We don't have it turned on for this one. The next one, though, is Kaylee's mom fights Minotaur. This helps in the sense that you can grab Kaylee as a companion without needing the tree wither and then getting her level 2 form after the elixir, rather than hard requiring them to get her as a companion.
Yeah. Also, a quick note about Kaylee in particular. It used to be that when you first got her, she had base axe and was like level 3, like in vanilla. In Randomizer, that's been changed. She will always have Giant's Axe, no matter what tier she is at, either tier 1 or tier 2, just for consistency and also to make her a usable companion, like viable in early game. Because with base axe, she just did not hit, and it was not fun from like a play perspective. So she will always have Giant's Axe equipped, no matter what tier she's at, whether you're doing quest extended or basic quests.
Last couple things here. We've got leveling type. We have several options for this. Right now we have it on quest, which is just the way they kind of leveled up in the vanilla one. You do their check. That'll what levels them up here. We also have quest extended, which each companion gets 4 exclusive quests. We'll kind of go over that more and probably go over a game info screen as well when we do that. We also have save the crystals. Every time you save a crystal, the companions level up. Save the crystals individual. Each companion gets their second version when you save a specific crystal. And then there's Benjamin's level, which the companions kind of track where Benjamin's levels are. So it's like Benjamin +5 or Benjamin +10. I think those are the only options. Yeah, or Benjamin's level identical, which I don't know if I've ever seen that one actually get used. That just sounds like a wonderful time. But
It's a little difficulty challenge, but it could be fun in its own right.
yeah. All right, and then the last thing here is you kind of decide your companion spell books. Standard, we have just the original spell books. Standard extended, we add some extra spells. Tristram gets Exit and Quake. Ruben also gets Blizzard. And then for some leveling settings, Kaylee will get Meteor and Tristram will receive Flare. This is just to kind of make all the companions more viable potentially in the end game, because outside of that, you're looking at, you've got Phoebe that'll get white. Ruben also gets white when they hit their level 2 forms or their second forms. Other than that, we've got Random Balance, which just randomizes the spellbooks with appropriate mix of spells, and then Random Chaos randomizes spellbooks in a total free-for-all. We'll go over that because I'm pretty sure we have one of those, and you start to make decisions when you look at the game info screen probably before you even start, because you'll see these companions have certain spells at certain levels. You kind of are deciding, here's what I need my companion to be able to do to probably beat this game.
Yep. And to talk on that briefly, general race etiquette in this community is if the game info screen shows any information like regarding spell books or companion levels or like quest checks or anything like that, you are allowed to review the game info screen before the race starts. So no one's going to chide you or give you a hard time if you're reading the game info screen. As a matter of fact, we encourage it to help kind of guide your routing before the race starts, because a lot of times the game info screen will have a ton of relevant information. To digest that as soon as you hit go at the start of a race would have most players just sitting still for about 5 minutes reading what's going on, and that's really not conducive to racing. So you're allowed to pre-review the game info screen.
Yeah, I'm highlighting this. The shuffle resist weakness type. This is one of the big ones that you want to be reviewing.
Absolutely huge.
And then especially if there's like if you're doing quest extended, because the quest extended almost feels kind of like playing bingo at that point. There's a lot of, I don't want to call them like silly things to do, but there's just a lot of objectives that you wouldn't normally think about doing in a normal gameplay that you would have to do, and you kind of want to know what you're doing ahead of time. So it's like, hey, something you might not do regularly. It's like, oh, I actually need to do that to level Phoebe up so she gets that spell, and now I can actually use her, or any of the other companions.
Yeah, or it's like, oh, I would really love to have this companion because I have something super powerful at this level tier, but their quest is so tedious, it would take more time to do the quest than it would be to just grab this companion and make do.
Yep. Okay, and then the last one that kind of matters as far as the seed itself is other. This is where you have leveling curve, disable spoilers file, mystery flags, and then battlefields and hints. So since this is the first week, we do have the leveling curve at 4x. That is the highest it can go. We're not trying to make the game difficult on you all. We want you to learn and just enjoy and have fun while playing. So odds are you are probably going to be rolling up to Dark King, typically a lot higher level than what you normally would on a regular, more async seed you might see during the week or anything like that. I think Speed Gaming Live, when we did a test of this, I think I rolled into Dark King at like 21 or 22, and that's significantly higher than what you usually are. That's usually you're 100% safe outside of a random crit. Your Benjamin's not getting one shot by anything.
Correct. And we also have disable spoiler files turned off because there is no shame as a new player in a randomizer having the spoiler log available. As a matter of fact, I encourage it because if you get stuck, you have something to reference to help you along the way. I do encourage you to try to play without referencing it as much as possible. That being said, if you are going to learn better by using it, be our guest. Just know that during the end of week race, we will have the spoiler file turned off. That way everybody's racing on the same playing field.
I would say probably as well the weekly async that'll go on, that'll probably have it turned on as well, just so, again, everybody's on the same page for that one.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, if you are practicing this flag set this week or any of the other weeks, I encourage you to make sure the spoiler file is available, but try not to reference it. It's a great way to learn. In almost every single race setting, unless it's specifically a spoiler file race, which those are a thing, totally awesome to have, but unless it's that specific kind of race, this setting will be turned on.
Yep. And one thing to note about mystery flags, if you do want to make a mystery flag for friends, the community, whatever, make sure you do all your flags before selecting this, because as soon as this is selected, all the flags get hidden. If you try to uncheck it, it resets. And the last few things here is we've got Shuffle Battlefield Rewards. This is typically turned on. If this is turned on, the battlefields will be a different color. We'll go over this when we actually get into the first seed. Blue means it's going to give some kind of an item. Gray means it's going to be XP. And then the normal green color from the vanilla, it'll give GP. And there's also different icons on the battlefields as well. It's not just color change.
Correct. So if you're colorblind or blue-green color deficient, the icons, I really need to get that tooltip updated. Blue battlefields will have a treasure chest icon. Gray battlefields will still have the traditional vanilla X's of the swords because, hey, X and XP. And then the green battlefields will have a money bag icon on them. So if you are color deficient and can't see blue-green, those are the icons to look out for.
Yep. Last couple things is battlefields. Battle quantity. You can set this anywhere from the vanilla 10 to either selecting 7, 5, 3, 1, or random, some kind of random between 1 and 10 or 1 and 5. Typically, I usually see it's random 1 to 5 or just like 1 if they're just trying to let you get through battlefields quickly. And then the last one, we don't have it turned on for this, but we have hint NPCs. This is just there are hints in every single inn where you can talk to them, and either if it's set for free, then you don't have to give them any money. If not, it will ask for, if you have so much money, it'll be like, hey, do you want to know where the location of X item for this much money? And you can either say yes or no. If you say yes, you give them the money. They say, hey, the Dragon Claw is at Ice Pyramid, 4th floor, this chest. You know exactly where it is then.
Yep, and you can't, if you don't have enough money for the NPC, you can't go up to him and find out what item he's giving a hint for. He'll just turn you away flat out unless you have the required amount of cash.
And the last thing we'll just kind of go over it briefly, but preferences, this doesn't affect randomization whatsoever. This is where you can go to change your sprite, add a custom sprite if you have it, randomize Dark King's true form, change music, set up a default window palette. You can also set it to reduce battle flashes or automatically download the ROM rather than, I don't have it set to where I actually have to click it as well. But things like that. And if you do make any changes, you just want to click Save Preferences at the bottom. That way, every single time you come to the site to generate something, you don't have to come change this or pick your sprite or anything like that.
Oh, did you turn off battle flashes for the ROMs you generated?
I did not. I can though.
Yeah, that'd be great for our streaming viewers who might be a little photosensitive. And also, arachnophobia warning. Dark King's true form, spoiler alert, is a giant spider. If you're arachnophobic, turning on randomized Dark King's true form, I believe you'll almost never see the vanilla version of Dark King with that toggle turned on. So if you don't like the big spider, you can turn on that flag and not see big spider typically.
And I guess go over like generate. So after you, since we didn't, so when you generate, if spoilers are allowed, you'll see, 4 different options. Download ROM file, the game info screen. We're not going to worry about that because there's really nothing in there for this seed. And then you'll see the download spoilers filer. So this is how you would get that spoilers filer if you want to review it. If you're stuck on the seed, whatever the case might be.
Yep, and it was brought up by chat, and we'll talk about it here really quick. So right there where it says FFMQR 1.6.2, and it's got the string of numbers and characters.sfc, that is going to be the name of the file. If you want to share your seed in the community, you can either share your file name or the permalink URL in the Discord. Please, and I'll say it one more time, please do not upload ROM files to the community Discord. That's technically illegal, and we don't want the Discord to go away. So only use the permalinks or the ROM file names if you've lost the permalink, and we can recreate the seed using that.
Yep.
Same thing for bug reporting. Don't upload your ROMs in the Discord. Just send the file info, and Ham can reconstruct the ROM that way.
Yeah, I think other than that, though, I don't think there's anything more we need to go over on the seeds, unless I'm mistaken.
Nope, but I will say that I have also created a how to generate a seed video. It is available in the new player room. So if you need a refresher and you can't find this VOD, I do have a video available in the new player room for people to follow along and generate their first seed that way as well.
Okay.
Slap the button. All right.
Yep.
So this is off a flash cart. If you're not familiar, this is what an FX Pack Pro looks like. If you go to any live events and submit the game, this is typically the hardware you're going to be running off of, a flash cart and either a vanilla console or a Super NT if you are lucky enough to have one available. Almost none of the live events will allow you to play off an emulator. So you will have to have hardware, although a lot of times you just need a flash cart. You don't need to provide your own console, but some will require that. SGL requires you to provide your own console.
Yep.
So I am not getting. Oh wait, never mind. I can't hear the stream audio, so I don't know if your game audio is coming through. Chat, can you hear the game audio?
Let me double check. It might be still muted. Hang on. I may have made decisions.
That's like 99.9% of the reason people pick up this game to play is because of the soundtrack. I'd hate for them to not be able to hear it. While you're checking that, I did also want to talk about. Okay, so while we're fixing that, I do also want to talk about the file size because someone's going to notice it. If you look at the ROM file that's generated from the Rando site, you will notice that it's larger than the ROM file you put in. That is because every time you generate a ROM for FFmpQR, it is automatically patched with an MSU1 support patch. So if you are familiar with MSU1 sound patches, that is automatically applied to the randomizer. So you don't have to do anything on your end except for drag and drop and rename the file to your MSU1 location. And that will be available. We're not going to go into how to do that on this stream. We do have resources in the new player room if you want to learn how to MSU1 patch the game and how to set that up. I will also mention Zeldix.net is a fantastic site to get your patches and walk and guides on how to do MSU1 sound patches, but the ROM is MSU1 sound patched, and that's why the file size is a little bit larger. Okay. And with that, I think we are good to kick off.
Yeah, and so just before we start, we're going to be running 2 seeds. For anybody that might have come in late. The first one, we're checking everything. Even if I have everything to go beat Dark King, we're still going to be checking everything because this is going to be showing the priority locations of everything in the game. We'll be going a little bit slower on that one. When we do the second one, however, that is going to be more of a race setting where I'm trying to hit go mode as soon as possible, go beat Dark King as quickly as possible. And the first one is we're going to be trying to stay within logic as much as possible. So no like ice pyramid without magic mirror, no volcano without mask, things like that, just to so we can kind of talk about the logic as we're going through as well.
Correct. On the tracker on screen here, I have highlighted everything we're going to need for go mode for these flag sets. So tonight, and this week, you will need at least the Dragon Claw, Mega Grenades, Thunder Rock, Captain's Cap, Mobius Crest, Sun Coin, and Sky Coin. Now, quick caveat. Out of logic, technically, you can get this the multi-key and not need the Sun Coin at all, because if you get to Fireburg and you have the multi-key, you can warp in from the Hermit's basement to Windia to then get to max ship. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but that is also technically available.
Also, chat, this is why there's 2 of us, so one of us can point out mistakes from the other person. He was missing 1 item for go mode. We also need a sword.
Oh, that's right. We do need a poke stick because we are navigating Doom Castle. Thank you.
We have Long Doom Castle. You need a sword for the ice floor. So
doesn't
matter what sword though.
Yeah, you need some pokey stick, but that is strictly for the ice pyramid floor. Without it, you can't navigate that floor. So, Thank you for the catch.
I guess if you want to count me down, Hebex, and we can go ahead and get started on this one.
Yep. So our tutorial seed will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so we start with bombs first, which is kind of one of the nicer starts. Most of this is brown boxes, so we don't care. This old man that you can jump over, though, he does have a key item, which is going to be our sand coin. So we already have access to Aquaria. And then typically, if nothing's shuffled, your next big check is you're coming into Foresta. And you're checking the back of this tree for something. It's typically the cure spell, if I remember right. In this case, it's a Venus key.
Correct. And there is a slight delay, chat, so Linkalot will be mentioning things that'll be showing up like half a minute on stream. That's just stream delay stuff. And I'm on tracking, so I'll update the tracker accordingly. So if you're coming in late, Everything you see on tracker is what we have.
We're
And
coming
so
into
it's
sand.
highly.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're going into Sandcastle. We don't have a companion. We can't pick up Kaylee because of the vanilla options. So Tristram right now is the only available companion for us. And
Yeah.
this is actually a really nice start. It actually showed. Didn't really get to see a very good sight on one of the battlefields, but you got to see kind of all the battlefields and what they're going to look like as far as color in this one area.
Correct. Now, 2 quick pieces of advice. Firstly, in these flag sets, if you don't have a partner, please don't try to take on these base battlefields without one. It's time consuming to do them solo, and also it's just a little, I don't know, a little sketch if you have any of the Randomizer settings turned on, because you could just get stuck. On that note, please try to save before your first encounter, especially if you have Randomizer turned on. You don't want to be hard locked into having to start over again and remake all those checks because you didn't save before going in.
Yep.
And then the last little thing right now, Link is leaving Tristram on auto for speed because of the lack, because we know that we're not going to take a lot of damage here, and because we don't want to waste the extra time doing the inputs for Tristram, we leave him on auto because we know that he doesn't have any spells, he's not going to use any items, he's only going to throw his shurikens, and that's all we were really going to have him do anyways. So that's why he's being left on auto. And we get a tin can for our reward here. So going to the bone dungeon, first check here is going to be where you normally get steel shield. Noble armor,
Yep, we get
nice.
Noble armor, and the next one, this is going to be where Tristram 1's check is right before this bombable wall. If you don't have bombs and you have Tristram, it's not a bad idea to come do this check, just because I've had it happen more often than not that Tristram has bombs.
Yeah, the game will troll you sometimes, chat, so don't ever drop that as a possibility. That's going to happen. So we're going through Bone Dungeon here. First hidden wall is over here on the right. We don't need to check it, though, because we don't have any red chests behind there. Try to make note of any of the hidden walls in the game. Those will be more relevant as we get more complex with our box shuffling. But up here is our first seed chest. This is guaranteed to be seeds if you do not have brown box shuffle turned on. Brown box contents. And then up here is where we would normally get Quake and Vanilla. This is going to be our next red chest, but there's a skeleton hiding in this bone tunnel.
Yeah, it's like hidden skeleton not liking me.
He blended right in there. I didn't see him until you.
I didn't either. I was just like, what? I'm like, okay, fight. All right, well, I guess we're doing this. Skeleton, let's go.
Yeah. So with the enemy position shuffle, enemies can be hiding in tunnels. So try to save if you're going into tunnels that you can't see the character sprites on. And typically it's a good idea to save here before Rex.
Yep.
So I imagine for this, you're going to leave Tristram on auto unless you take any damage. So here's how healing works in the game. If you are below 50% of your HP and your companion is on auto, they will use whatever means available to heal you back up. That being said, if they don't have the Cure spellbook, they will use Cure potions to bring your health back up. They will not use life. They'll just throw a Cure potion on you. So if you want to use life, you have to switch off of auto to go to manual to have your companion use a Cure potion on you. So right here, Tristram's on auto. He will use life on Ben.
If I didn't take him off auto.
Correct. If you left him on auto, he would have used the life spell on Ben to pick him back up. But because Linkalot knew he was one hit away from death, more than likely, he switched to manual by pressing the Y button on the controller, and then controlled Tristram's turn to have him attack. And I guess we should talk about it real quick. You've done a couple saves now, and we haven't talked about it. To get to the save menu instantly, instead of having to press start and go to save, you press the X button on your controller. I know this is probably like baby's first instructions, and you guys might know about this, but for anybody who doesn't know about their shortcut commands, Y is to use to switch your partner from auto to manual, and X is to use to get to quick save And I highly recommend getting familiar with using X to get to the quick save menu, or not quick save, but save menu in general, because it's faster than pressing start and go to save.
Yep, if you're just playing seeds casually, it might not be a big deal, but if you're talking about like an actual race, that you're talking about seconds, and we've had races decided by seconds.
Yeah, we personally, Link-a-Lot and I, like, had a race where our times were like 10 seconds apart while we were at SGL.
Yep.
So we have a money battlefield here, and we have an XP battlefield here. Now, we also have Tree Wither available.
Yep.
So since Kaylee is available as a check, notice here she's going to have her Giant's Axe. She's also going to be level 7, not level 3, because level 3 is just almost unusable for any other parts of the game. If you get stuck with her, it feels bad, man.
I can switch her back to auto.
Yep.
Yeah.
So before we go check Minotaur, Link-a-Lot just wants to get a little bit of cash, which I don't blame him for.
Need money.
And also, these worms are weak to axe, so you're going to see her do over 1,000 damage if she connects with one.
Ooh, okay. I like that place.
Yeah. So these battlefields can have a couple different formations. Double worms or single zombie minotaurs, ideal. They're like the fastest ones. A lizard minotaur is not bad, but sometimes your bombs won't be able to kill the minotaur with a damage split. And we'll talk about that real quick while you kill minotaur, because there's nothing of note to say about minotaur.
Yeah, minotaur is gonna just die.
Yeah. So if anybody who plays MMOs, you're familiar with the term area of effect, or AoE for short. Bombs and wizard spells in this game are all preset to only be AoE casts. So they will always, always, always be AoE. They will not be single target. What that means is if there's 2 targets, instead of doing its full damage, your bombs will split its damage in half between those 2 targets. If there's 3 targets, your damage is divided by 1/3 and split evenly amongst the 3 targets. So that's how that works for wizard spells and bombs. And if you decide to multicast black magic spells, that's how that works as well. Right here we have our next check. It's River Coin, very nice. And then we have Phoebe. Phoebe won, so we'll talk about it real quick. I forgot you grabbed Libra. So we get that knocked out real quick. Phoebe 1 is an okay partner. I wouldn't say she's the best. She has fire available, so she does have AoE advantage. She's the only tier 1 partner with AoE. Outside of that, though, the rest of her stats are pretty lackluster, and her bow's just okay. Here's the worst NPC in the game. Chat, get used to this lady getting in the way. Steel sword. Gonna buy it anyways.
Yeah, just because we're doing all the checks, I'm buying it there. Typically, you've already got the Knight Sword. You would just skip that and save the money.
Correct. So, you'll notice here on Link-a-Lot's screen that you see he's got a Steel Sword. Oh no, what happened to his Knight Sword? All he has to do is switch weapons. So if you press the weapon switch button, there we go, we have our Knight Sword back. Even if you only have one weapon, like let's say you only had a sword and you went down to a Steel Sword, pressing the weapon select button will switch it back to being a Knight Sword. So no need to worry about that there. And while we go through this battlefield, each of the weapons give you a stat bonus as they're equipped, as in selected. Any of the swords in the game will give you a +5 to your speed. Any of the axes will give you a +5 to your strength, speaking of. And any of the claws will give you a +5 to your magic. They need to be visibly equipped for that to take effect. Bombs don't give you any status advantages. Their advantage is they can never miss, and they're always AoE.
Yep.
I think we worked it out, Hatox, and it's like the tier 1s also give you those stat bonuses. Because
I don't think the sword does.
The Steel Sword?
Yeah, I think you have to have Knight Sword and Excalibur for the bonus. Yeah. But I believe all of the claws give that +5 magic.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it again. But that is typically how it works is, swords give you speed, axes give you strength, claws give you magic. Oh, yeah.
And again, we're doing this battlefield just because I had to spend that money. typically with the 12, the first one was 1200. Typically, that's all you need. 'Cause unless you're having to buy every vendor item, that's more than enough money for a seed.
Correct. So that is Phoebe's check out of the way. So if we were trying to go as fast as possible, if we had Windia available right now, we could literally book it to Windia in right now and get tier 2 Phoebe, which is in-game Phoebe, and start blasting. But we're going to keep working through this like as a, we're going through in order here. So because we don't have a claw, we can't do Wintry Cave. So we have to shift gears a little bit and change our checks. Because enemy positions are shuffled here, we can do what is called 3-pillar setup. There's 2-pillar setups that community generally uses, 2 or 3-pillar setups. This is 3-pillar setup here. So with this setup, you can avoid the right side entirely, except to make a check, hop across, and you can go straight to crab. Or if you have brown box shuffle turned on, you can go in that little alcove in the top right, check that, and then come over to Mr. Krabs. Yep. So because we have single target casts here, we killed the fish first. Flare is doing big damage to Mr. Krabs. He's also weak to axe, so having a tier 2 or tier 3 axe will do a ton of damage for him. You can blow up this wall. There's arrow, and now you can make a quick exit out because we don't have exit. We can technically go into pyramid and make a check because we have a sword, but because we don't have a claw, we cannot full clear pyramid. So, logically, since there would only be 3 checks you can make in pyramid, but we have all of Fireberg unlocked, that you can technically get more checks available to you in Fireberg. So that's where we're going to go. Also, because we don't have a claw, logically, pyramid is not available.
There's also, we don't have mirror, so it's not even in logic at all right now. Anything we find in there, and that's where typically, there is a red box right away, so it wouldn't be a terrible thing to go in there for that, but because of the logic and we're trying to stay on logic, then we're not doing that right now.
Yep, so that little quest complete notice right there means that anytime you pick up Tristram for the rest of the seed, he is now going to be tier 2 Tristram. He's going to be available for us at his tier 2 level, which I think is 21, 23, something like that. Chat, what level is tier 2 Tristram usually? Because we almost never use him with if the spell books aren't turned up.
Yeah, spell books are... I don't know. Yeah, he might just be 23.
Yeah, ish. Same as base Ruben. Yeah. Let's talk about Ruben real quick. Ruben over time has gotten shifted to below priority of Tristram, especially if you have Spellbook Expanded turned on. The reason behind that, and you'll see it a lot in discussion, is because his only claim to fame is hitting like a truck with the Morning Star, which is Axe element. So if there's enemies weak to Axe, Ruben's your boy. But he also only has fire damage resistance. He has no status effect immunity. What that means is he's not immune to poison, paralysis, instant death, etc., etc. Immunities are kind of king in this game because it means that you avoid a lot of crappy scenarios due to being immune from poison damage or petrification or paralysis or confusion. That's why Cupid Locket's so huge. You'll hear a lot of people pop off about getting that, or Aegis Shield. Those are 2 really dangerous status elements that getting immunity from is a huge sigh of relief.
And this would be another one, like if we were playing as a race setting, all the mask and the magic mirror, since we're actually in here, all they do is reveal where the enemies are to you. So the mask and Firebird for 500 gold, typically you're skipping that. You don't really care where the monsters are. But we bought it for 500 so we could go in here. There's 2 checks in here. We've got the Medusa and the one all the way at the very bottom. Unfortunately, with no claw, we kind of have to do this. We've got Flare, thankfully, but she also has Confusion. So, and I don't have any way to get out of that.
In situations like this, I like to equip Sword when I don't have
True.
Claw available, just because I like the speed bonus. Some players will switch to other items. Confused Ruben's dangerous. Thankfully, he popped out of it. Thank goodness. Confused Ruben has a really bad habit of smacking Ben directly in the face.
Yeah, which in Ben having only 400 HP means Ben is taking a dirt nap until hopefully he breaks out and you cast life.
Yep. So this is optimal turn setup here. We didn't get the turn order, but essentially, ideally, what would happen here is if the boss outsped, she would have smacked Ben. Ruben would have picked him back up, and he still would have been able to cast Flare. That's a holdover from Vanilla Stone. Thankfully, life cures any status ailment, so we don't need to worry about having the heal book or heal potions. And we're going for Mr. President strats here. So the community has coined this term Mr. President, as in get down, Mr. President. So what Linkalot did there was had Ruben defend Ben so that no matter what Medusa did, Linkalot would have still gotten his turn off, whether it would have been an AoE thing that would have insta-killed the party, whether it was a status ailment, whatever happens, Ruben would have taken the hit, and then we got the kill. And yes, chat, life cures every status ailment in combat. Outside of combat, it'll only bring you to full life for some reason. So that's where heal kind of has its shine, and heal potions. So logically, we're set up to do a lot of things now. We can go and back to Pyramid since we have a claw. We can go to Wintry Cave. Linkalot's going to make a seed purchase here. He's going to make sure he saves 300 GP for the the Windia vendor. Yeah, we have multi-key, so we can do Hermit check. This is where you would normally get Mega Grenades. We got Gemini Crest, which is nice. It's going to make traveling back to Aquaria much faster. So instead of having to go back through Focus Tower, if you go through the vendor's basement, you can then warp to the Aquaria vendor. Good question. Would Ruben cast life if he was set to auto on Petrified Ben, or did he use a heal potion? I think the AI was not programmed to incorporate the status cure of life into its calculations. So I believe in that case, Ruben would have just used the heal potion if you had one, or tried to just smack Medusa if you didn't have a heal potion. It wouldn't have cast life. Yep. Which is unfortunate, but that's how that works. You are getting all of the lucky break out of a confusion instantly.
It's because I don't need it. It's because I don't need it right now. That's why.
We don't need that evil in our life right now. White is huge. Anybody who runs vanilla speedrun will tell you that life is like the best spell in the game, second to Flare. Just because White and Flare share the same cast time animation. It also does an absurdly large amount of damage for how early in the game you get it. So it's kind of like your go-to spell. It is also status neutral, as in it doesn't have an element associated with it. So it's useful on every single boss. So let's say you have Flare and White and you're fighting a dragon or Djinn. White is the preferred spell in that use case, because you'll get full damage from White where you'll get half damage from Flare.
Speaking of Djinn.
Yep, on to the Big Mean Genie. There are tutorials on how to do Djinn skip from our vanilla speedrunning community. It involves using Mega Grenades. If you don't have Megas, I don't believe you can do the animation skip. But we're going to fight the Big Mean Genie here. Because we have White, this is going to be a pretty trivial fight. So in situations like this, where we're fighting a mini-boss or a boss that has 2 accompanying enemies, the ideal situation to start off is to try to eliminate the accompanying enemies, because that's less of a damage spread on your big spells and more damage being applied directly to the boss. Ruben on Djinn vanilla is pretty nice, because all the fire spells that Djinn throws out, Ruben takes half damage from. He's pretty reliable in this fight.
That's probably the best thing to find. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet.
Oh, the best spell in the game. All right, let's talk about Exit. And why I say it's the best spell in the game. Exit has a lot of utility cases. First of all, you can use a White Charge to instantly leave any location you're in, whether it be dungeon or town. In combat, Exit has weapon accuracy, which means it can miss sometimes. However, 9 times out of 10, you'll use it to banish enemies to the Phantom Zone. You'll literally get like a translucent white outline, and enemies will just go bye-bye. And then an added feature to the randomizer, if you use Exit on the overworld, if you'd like to show that off real quick, Link.
Yeah, we can do that.
For the fans. Do it for the fans.
For the fans, we did.
Yep. If you use it on the overworld, you will, waiting for your stream to catch up, warp back to the forester region on the level forest tile. So if you need to come back to level forest or forester region for whatever reason, using exit and overworld is very good.
And since I did that, we're going to change what I was going to do just a little bit, which is fine. Because I've got the wake water. So we're going to go do that instead. Because that's lots of checks. That's 4 checks that it's locking right now.
Yep, and if you'd like to talk about that real quick while I handled something, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, so wake water when no red boxes are shuffled, and you have Venus Key, which we already have. It's blocking 2 chests in Focus Tower that you can get in kind of the back of Focus Tower, as well as 2 checks here in Spencer's Cave. These checks in Spencer's Cave can be gotten through the windier region if you already have Mega Grenades and the Thunder Rock, but they could be here. So we're checking them now, and we got Magic Mirror and the Mobius Crest. So that puts all of Pyramid in logic at that point. So that's immediately where we're going to go because there's quite a few red boxes here. We've got a red box here on the first floor. Over on the right, this is the Vanilla Magic Mirror location. And that's our Sun Coin. So we now have access to essentially everywhere in the world that's not locked by Maker Grenades. We've got 3 more red boxes here. We've got the drop down box, got a Vanilla Noble Armor, and then we have the box at the actual boss on Ice Golem, which is Ben's major chance to shine in the randomizer when you already have Flare. You'll see when we get there.
Yeah, you're gonna see big number do big damage. And I didn't miss anything, right? You only got Sun Coin, Mobius Crest, and Magic Mirror
Yes.
while it was gone? Perfect. So, sorry about that, chat. I had to take care of something real quick, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of the talking here, just because 1, Link's focused on navigation, but 2, I also have the same little bit of video delay that y'all have, so I can speak a little more closer to when things happen on stream.
Yeah, I'm trying to when I'm like something's happening, like, okay, I'm gonna wait to say anything until I see it on the Discord stream, just to not be super ahead of everybody.
No, you're good. Link a lot just comes from the future. That's how he does so well on a lot of our races. He just knows.
Don't tell him my secret. Come on
now. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, yeah, there's just a little bit of a delay, and we're dealing with that, but that's all right. So here's the Noble Armor room. The quick way to get here is to drop down from this next. Thank you for telling me about the magic ring. You can drop down from this floor into the Noble Armor room to check that chest now. A lot of folks like to wait until after they defeat Golem because it's on the way out. That's what I like to do. But sometimes you have to make that check before getting to Golem. So dropping on any part of this floor, as in walking off, will cause that to happen. You need bombs to open up that little spot in the middle of the floor to drop down and get to Golem. And we could talk about it really quick. So we noticed Link walked really quickly along that bridge. Link, what method do you use to get across bridge quickly? Because I use a couple different methods that I advise, but I'm pretty sure you have the timing memorized.
No, I don't have any timing.
Okay.
I do it off of looks.
Fair enough. There is a slight amount of input buffer that you can put in on this game for navigation. So what I like to do is something called tap movement.
I have that.
So you can tap the direction button the exact amount of tiles you need to move, and eventually you'll get the count down. To get across that bridge quickly, it's what I recommend. Just kind of tapping your way through it. Big damage. He's gone. Like how you one-shot him.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll be a 2-shot, but if you get lucky with the low roll, hitting Golem with Flare is the most satisfying thing that you can do in this game, because big damage. But yeah, on that bridge there, we also saw on the way up to Golem that Link did my favorite piece of movement tech here, which is jumping across the platforms. So instead of having to walk up and then walk right and then walk up and walk left and go up the zigzag, which might cause him to fall, instead, he jumped across those gaps. Very strategic use of that movement, saves you a little bit of time. And there's our Sky Coin. So we're missing T-Rock in Megas.
For go mode. And like we said, this one we're still gonna, even if we hit go mode, we're still gonna go check everything.
Correct.
Just to be, we want to show off all the priority locations just in case something's prioritized, so you know it's like, all right, these are the priority locations now, and you're not wondering. It's like, oh, I missed something, but where did I miss it? And find out it was a priority box somewhere or a priority check on like an NPC.
Yep. So while you make your way to Squidite here, I do want to call out 2 pieces of speed tech that you used. The first was, instead of hitting the switch in the Noble Armor room, since Linklot knew he had exit, he saved time by not hitting the switch and just running to the chest and then using exit to leave the dungeon. That he knows he has all the checks at that point. He doesn't need to walk back out, and he doesn't need to waste time hitting the switch. The second piece of movement tech that you saw there was on Wintry Cave on that wall. Instead of holding down A to go all the way down the wall and climb down it slowly, if you just hit the first climb tile and then let go of the A button, you will drop, and it's much faster than climbing down manually. Like, it's a very, very fast descent falling down a wall than it is manually climbing down. And you can interrupt that fall by pressing A at any point. So you can do what is essentially a re-grab on the climb walls if you need to. I don't think it's typically needed in a lot of the sections. I can only think of one area where I kind of do that. It's like a pseudo wall grab. That's in tree. But outside of that, it's like a little niche piece of tech.
Yeah, and then the one thing I want to note about the checks here and the one in Spencer's Cave, even though they are red boxes, the red box behind the bomb wall there and the red box next to Spencer and Spencer's Cave, you need the Venus key to do those. They're both locked by the Venus key. They are also considered NPCs.
Yep. So the way the game handles the programming for those 2 chests is because they have an interactable dialogue exchange about the key being used on it. They're programmed to be NPCs. So if you turn off or you set NPCs to exclude, those red chests, those Venus key chests, will not have items in them ever.
And also to note, they will still look like red boxes as well, because of the fact they are NPCs.
Correct. So I'm busy talking, so sometimes I'm not updating the tracker. But Moon Helmet is a really, really good find here. So is Venus Shield. Moon Helmet gives you fire resistance. I mean, realistically, you don't even need Apollo Helmet after getting Moon Helmet. Apollo Helmet just gives you stat bonuses. Moon Helmet's typically all you would really need. So if we saw a shop vendor, I don't know, like, do you purchase Apollo, or are you like, I'm good with Moon?
If I have the money and I don't need it for seeds, I'll grab it just because it is a stat boost in defense and all of that. But otherwise, if I'm short on money or anything, then no.
Yeah, it's not too concerning. Noble Armor gives you poison immunity and water resistance. Gaia Armor is huge because it gives you sleep resistance, sleep immunity, and also wind and lightning resistance. Venus Shield here is a great find. It gives you paralysis immunity and some just good stats in general. And then Aegis Shield, once he upgrades that, will give him petrification immunity, and then Cupid Locket will give you confusion immunity. I believe Ring technically gives you... No, it's Cupid Locket that gives you
silence
blind.
immunity.
Yeah, Ring gives you silence immunity, which is bugged, and then blind immunity comes from Cupid Locket as well, which actually has a niche use case. So we went back and saved Aaron. We'll talk to him after we're done with Lava Dome. But for now, we're going to go in and do the vanilla checks. So this is the fastest routing with exit that you can do for these checks. So after getting life check in Moon Helmet, not life, but after hitting the switch for Hydra Door, using exit is optimal for movement, just because it saves so much more time than walking back out of these sections, because there are like basically dead ends. Hey, Cupid Locket.
Yep.
So after you grab the life chest check, use exit if you have it to save you some time. You'll have to re-enter the dungeon and you might need to refight something, but it's still faster than walking all the way back. Same thing here. So Link is going to go down and hit the switch for Hydra Door. And as soon as he hits that switch, he's going to press start and go to spells and cast exit to get out of here, then make his way to Hydra proper. And that is going to be faster than retreading all of that ground to get back to here.
That's why we love exit.
Mm-hmm. You could also use the claw. So instead of taking this fight here, Link could also go to the left side and use that little half claw wall to drop down. Depends on if there's an enemy over there or not. I didn't see, so could have been a little faster.
The ninja
but...
was looking at me funny.
Oh yeah, no, and ninjas are also great XP. I don't know what it is about all the ninjas in this game give huge amounts of XP, especially the black colored ninjas in Doom Castle. Those guys give it an absurd amount of XP. So if you need to XP farm, like grind up levels, ninjas are always a great enemy to farm. Oh, look, they're so polite for you in this room, Sam. A lot of times they're just mean. They sit in the way, but they know we're putting on a show today, so they're getting out of the way.
Let them go fast.
Yep.
Okay.
Useless room is that little climb up to that door, by the way. If you turn on Quest Expanded, it might mention a useless room. That's the room we're referencing. Yeah, teacher privilege. So, yep, you did exactly what I would do. We saw that Link saw that there was an encounter being forced in the way on the right side. It is faster to just go back and walk around and go the other way than it would be to fight and clear out that lizard fight. So yeah, any fights that you don't fight typically saves time because there's a whole transition and all the inputs and, you know, hopefully one-shotting the enemies. So all in all, it's generally faster not to fight. So what a lot of folks like to do here, if this was Brown Box Shuffle, Link's going to do it because he's got to top up on seeds anyways. A lot of runners you'll see will save the game and then jump on this platform. And if there is a brown box behind Hydra, they will soft reset their consoles. That means that Link, since he's on hardware, would hit the reset button on his console. Or if you're an emulator, you'd hit the button that you have mapped to reset to soft reset the emulator and then reload your save and then not fight Hydra. That is a community standard technique because peeking Hydra requires you to jump on his platform and start the fight.
Nobody likes Hydra.
No. Hydra Gate's a real thing. He's like the third out of 4 major bosses on the first section of the game. So he has high stats. He's got some nasty status ailments he can throw at you. He has no weaknesses, even though everybody thinks, and I also agree, that he should be weak to water. He's just not for some reason.
He should be weak to air.
Wyvern is. Correct, but his refight is, but he isn't. So I don't know what that... Yep, there's petrification. As if on cue. And if you come in here at low levels, he will make you respect him. It's pretty nasty. But with Meteor and White here, this is going to go down pretty quickly.
And a weakened one. I mean, he wasn't close to vanilla, but he was getting somewhat close to vanilla.
Yep. So while he's dying here, I will also mention that his attack script shifts at 50% HP. So when he goes down to a single head, you'll notice that the attacks he's throwing at you, especially if you have the attack randomizer turned on, will change. He'll use a different attack set. That's because his moveset is programmed to change to that 50% threshold. What do we get? Gaia?
I almost forgot something.
You're now cursed with insomnia. So yeah, this little exit's now opened up here. So this is your bridge between Aquaria and Fireberg. With Map Shuffle turned on, this could actually be a logical access point programmed into the game.
Yep.
We'll talk about that as we get to those flag sets. Vanilla T-Rock? Trunk Claw. Okay. We've had Aaron Gate go mode in the past before, so I don't think any of us forget that he exists still. But yeah, after you free him from the mines, you go back to Ruben's house and you talk to him in bed and he will give you an item. So at this point, you full cleared Aquaria, Foresta, Fireberg.
Foresta's not quite full cleared.
Oh yeah, that's right. You need to get an elixir. So that's the only thing.
Yep, I need the elixir still.
Yep, so once he gets elixir, you can go back and pick up Kaylee and do the Windia in check. So in this flag set, there is nothing on Rope Bridge because it's all brown boxes. Same thing with the temples. Temples only have brown boxes. So we're going to run here to Windia. The vendor has jumbos. Going to buy them anyways, but in this case, since he already had megas, most of the time we would not make that purchase.
Yeah, so for this one, every single vendor purchase, I would not have made it. I would have saved all that money. So...
Yep, and there's quest complete. Yep, and unfortunately we cannot go to auto to turn in Thunder Rock because we ain't got the rock. So we have a choice to make here. So we're going with Mount Gale. Ideally, all 3 locations here between Tree, Gale, and Pazuzu Tower available, but Gale has the shortest checks out of the 3. It's just 1 check. It's behind Doulahan. We're going to go ahead and just get it out of the way because we have Tier 2 Phoebe. So this should be meteors in white until he go bye-bye.
There's also the other check. There is a battlefield. We'll do that after leaving this. Realistically, I didn't think about it, but that would probably be the actual quickest check, is do the battlefield first.
Correct. Yeah, and sorry for the background noise, chat. That was not a cat. My baby girl is big mad. So if you hear me go on mute for a second, that's just kid noises. Sorry about that. So coming into Doulahan here, remember that he is resistant to fire damage. He will take half damage from flare, so we use Meteor. If you are forced to use Tristram in this situation, he is susceptible to paralysis. So a trick that a lot of us have learned that is, if we don't have anybody else better available, sometimes we'll just grab Tristram to stun lock this boss. It's completely viable. You could try to use Dragon Claw, but because of how many status ailments are inflicted by Claw, you likely will not get the proc for paralysis. But if you have Charm Claw, or I think even Cat Claw, you can get that proc pretty reliably.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad, I don't blame you for thinking that she sounded like a cat. No offense taken. And yeah, Doulahan has been pretty nice here. Not awful. Hadoomerang, it can hit, and there's also Doom Dance right there. That was pretty sketchy, but you dodged it. Good job. You won the coin toss.
That 50-50. Let's go.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that instant death is 50-50 in this game. I don't think we've ever actually confirmed it in the code. We just call it a 50-50.
It depends. Are you ahead of your opponent? If the answer is yes, then it's 100%. But
okay, remember, chat. All slime monsters are weak to the bomb explosives, and the oozes here, aka the black slimes, have reflect. Do not use spells on these black slimes. They will hit you in the face real hard back.
you find out really fast why you only use spells.
And no, we have not touched on spell charges and how they are acquired. Do you want to touch on that while you go through this battlefield real quick?
Actually, if you want to go ahead. Hey, look at that. I mean, yeah, I can. I'm trying to think. If I remember right, white is equal to level. Black is... Actually, we can go ahead and look. So, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, if you want to pull up the screen real quick and top up your charges, we can kind of break it down.
I just did.
Yep. So, white is your level +2. This is how many your max charges is. Black is, I believe, you get 1 charge every 2 levels from 1. So I think once you hit 19, you'll have 11 black charges. And then wizard is 1 charge every 4 levels. So once you hit 20, you'll have 5 wizard charges. I believe that's correct. Hotox would know best. He's been hanging out in here and being a boss, correcting me on some of my misconceptions. So I apologize, but I believe that's how that works. And we do have a document that breaks all that out. Again, check the new player room. So we're going to go up P Tower here. Oh, yeah. What'd you get from the battlefield? I missed that.
We got Aegis Shield.
Nice. Thank you.
We got all of the important resistances now.
Correct.
Polo Helm would be nice for the stats, but we don't need resistances anymore.
Yeah. But this armor layout here, Moon Helmet, Gaia Armor, Aegis Shield, Cupid Locket, is ideal. This is what you would be the most comfortable going into King with. Apollo Helmet, like we said, is okay. Not great. P-Tower only has 3 checks. You have to be able to go all the way up to make the checks, because all the checks are on odd floors. I mean, even floors, except for Pazuzu, which, did we see what floor he's on yet?
Yes, we did. He is very nice to me, and he's on floor 1.
Ooh, very nice. So his position is dependent on the seed. So if you're racing somebody, he will always be on the same floor as your opponent for you. So instead of hitting the switches on floor 6 and 4, Link, since he knows Pazuzu's on floor 1, is only going to hit the switch on floor 2. You have to lock him down on an odd numbered floor or floor 6 to be able to fight Pazuzu. So Link taking the conservative route here. Another play that some players like to make here is to have Phoebe cast White in this formation, regardless, to kill the Sphinx and the Thanatos, and then just have Ben mop up the Beholder with bombs. Especially when Phoebe's blinded like this. God, they are just giving you the business.
And Thanatos just keeps always curing too, yeah.
Correct. So Phoebe will take big damage, but she won't die from that strat. Another strat here is to use Dragon Claw to go for the petrification proc. So there's a couple different ways to handle this formation. This one's, I think, in my opinion, one of the spicier formations that you can get in this tower.
Yep.
But everything here gives a ridiculous amount of XP because it's endgame. So that's why you're getting a level basically every fight.
Also, one thing to note as well, we did find Thunder Rock. I am in effective go mode, so like I don't have to be doing this tower again. We're doing it to go over all of the checks. But as soon as I get that, if you're racing, that would be an immediate exit. You're done.
No, you didn't do the swag jump on the staircase. So fun fact, you can jump from that platform over to where Norma is onto the staircase. It's like something I didn't find out till very recently that's possible. But we're going to fight the Jerkbird here. Phoebe's the optimal partner for this fight. Not only does she resist wind damage, but her bow does extra damage because Pazuzu's weak to shoot. And even though she doesn't have arrow, White does a ludicrous amount of damage. However, if you leave Phoebe on auto for this fight, there is a small % chance, for whatever reason, that she will cast arrow. We don't know why. I think at some point she was designed to have arrow for this part of the game, and the devs were like, no, let's give it to Kaylee. But for whatever reason, the auto script can still pull from that old data and have Phoebe cast arrow. So if you see that, that's not a bug, that's a vanilla leftover. And I think that's just been left in. I don't think it's been patched out.
Yeah, and as far as checks, we don't really have a lot left. We've got Giant Tree. We've got the check in the back of Spencer's Cave after Thunder Rock, which that will probably be next. Elixir. We've got Giant Axe from here. So if I've been keeping track of my weapons properly, that's every weapon we have now.
I believe. So we're going to turn in the rock here, build a Rainbow Road. You have to turn in Thunder Rock to auto to be able to blow up Spencer's Cave.
And you do need the Mega Grenades as well. Not any bomb will serve.
Correct. Only Mega.
There, that is finally. There is one thing I want to be certain. There we go. Oh, we also have a life force check as well. Yeah, we only have like 4 more checks in the entire game. There's the Elixir check. I was hoping it would be there and not Doom Castles. I was expecting it to be Doom Castle at this point. I guess while we're actually talking about it, because this, I believe it's just Mount Gale and Tree that do this, but typically the items, the red boxes you would find in both Mount Gale and Giant Tree, you don't need to beat the bosses for. That was a randomizer change to actually make the bosses reasonable. Actually, or go fight them and not just be like, oh, go get the item and run out and never fight this boss ever. Mount Gale, should be a chest in the upper right. There's a small little island that you can get to, and that would also be one of the checks you can get for Quest Extended, as well as you need to go to that island where the chest should be.
Yep, that's the old Apollo helmet check, and that's been moved to underneath Dual Hand to make him relevant. Because almost every single mini dungeon, like mini boss dungeon, besides Squidite, oddly enough, you could just skip all their like fights to get their red chests. So the randomizer's been adjusted to make them relevant. Good old wall dropping patterns here. And you notice right there, Link just held right and kept the A button held down for that last section. That's a really easy way to navigate that wall. We've had a lot of people who fall off that wall before in the past. Because we're so practiced, we make it look easy, but yeah, that's how you navigate that. It'll take a little bit of practice, but. And I saw Hatox mention, I don't know if you covered it while I was handling stuff, but Pazuzu movement is a little intricate. He does only move upwards when you talk to him. So if you talk to him on floor 2, he'll go up to either floors 3 through 6. He'll never be on floor 7, thankfully. Unless... Yeah, no, you can't talk to him on floor 7.
Yeah, no, you won't be able to get to him.
So Ghidra is another enemy who is resistant to fire. They love to give you flare and then be like, no, don't use it here, please. Although in vanilla, you wouldn't have flare at this point.
No,
so that's why Meteor is optimal for this fight.
But Meteor would be the play here, and he should be dead this round.
Yeah, if you run out of charges and you think he's one hit away from death, instead of using the seed, he is weak to wind, so an arrow cast here would also be a good substitute in lieu of having wizard spell charges.
And it does pretty comparable damage to a wizard spell as well. Arrow is, for a black spell, does a significant amount of damage.
Yeah,
especially when
basically,
weak.
I think it's about the same damage as white.
Yeah,
so,
I believe so.
Very, very nice. So go on, kid. Fun fact, you actually don't need to see this cutscene at all. And skipping this cutscene, like not walking through this door, will prevent the enemies from respawning in the tree. So it's best to not watch the cutscene at all in race style events. Not to mention it's just a long cutscene you don't need to see. But since we're doing a tutorial here, I appreciate Link showing that off.
Yeah.
So, again, shout outs to Ham for making the Tweak Frustrating Dungeons remove almost like all the mushrooms in the way here. Because normally you would have a mushroom on every single floor tile of that room, and it gets really annoying really fast. You picked up Elixir, right?
Yep.
I did not note it on the tracker. Thank you.
Yeah, we got it in.
So,
well, we got it in the forest.
Yep. So, now that you've given Kaylee, you get the quest complete. She'll join the party. You have to take her to the Windy Inn to get her check. If Kaylee's mom was the person that you turned this into instead, you would give her the item. She would then get up and move to Windia Inn, and then you would have to go talk to her in the second story of Windia Inn.
Which is where we're going right now.
Exactly, because that's the last check you have.
2 checks left.
Yeah,
after this one.
Max ship.
We've got Max ship, and then we also
and
have
Aegis Shield.
Yep. And Doom Castle.
Yep.
And we're switching back to Phoebe because we're about to go to Doom Castle. So,
yeah. Unless you're extra,
you bring Phoebe.
Yeah, unless you're extra scared of petrification, most of us take Phoebe. If you don't have Aegis Shield for whatever reason, and you want to have a partner who's guaranteed to not be petrified on gold webs, some folks will pivot to take Kaylee because she's immune to petrification at tier 2. Welcome to Max Ship. Always check bow of ship if you have brown box shuffle turned on. That's not a professional strat or anything. That's just my own philosophy. There's
Skip
a box
at your own
there.
peril.
Yep, skip at your own peril. There's a box hidden at the very front of the ship. It blends in with the tile set here, but it has been known to have some goodies. So right here next to Mac, where we would normally get the... what do we normally get in that chest? Gaia armor, right?
Yes, I don't remember. It's been so long since I've actually played vanilla. I'm just like, what's actually there? I don't remember.
I think it's Gaia armor. You got your polymet. Fun fact, there are vendors here on the lower decks of the ship. So if you have not done your seed shopping and you want to get that taken care of, you can go down below deck, and there are 2 vendors there in the front of the ship where you can buy seeds and I think it's potions from.
Yep. Yeah, I did some seed shopping in Windia, just because I was running low before going in a tree. I had like 2 left going in a tree. I'm like, that's not good.
Yep. So this is why you need mega grenades in Dragon Claw for go mode. So you drop down here after you check
I
Aegis
had one
Shield.
last check.
Yep. So this is Aegis Shield check. A lot of times it will have some cheeky items in it. So like you can find life there because it's not technically a logically required spell. You can find bombs there sometimes. You just can't find any of your go mode items in that check. That's been excluded because you wouldn't be able to get here without it. So coming up here on Rex, are you going to do life or exit?
Life. We'll show
Okay.
both of them all.
Yeah, there's 3 quick kills available for this first fight. The first one is using life on a partner who's higher than level 32. That'll just instant kill Rex and reward you with a full XP. The second method is using exit on Rex. That'll also instant kill him, but you will not get the fight XP from him. The third method is a gambling man strat. You can use Dragon Claw to petrify Rex and insta kill him that way. So those are 3 quick kills. I think most of us prefer life if available. It just is the most consistent and also rewards XP. And this is why swords required here. So the Ice Pyramid refight floor here. This is the route. Try to make note of it if you need to go back and watch the VOD. I don't blame you. It's a little obtuse, but this is the best way to navigate this floor because you need to hit all these switches. If you don't, you'll have to backtrack and you'll probably get lost, and it's a little annoying.
It is definitely
So-
a maze.
Yep, left, the middle, right, back down to the bottom right. Don't have to hit that switch there. That one's kind of a weird switch. We'll talk about it after we killed Stone Golem.
You also cannot fall on this floor, so don't worry about holding something and you fall somewhere.
Correct. You cannot fall into the abyss. So hit that switch, jump across. And then you're free and clear to get over to Stone Golem. Now, optimal strat for Stone Golem, unfortunately you can't petrify him or kill him with life, so exit is your friend here. If you don't have exit, he resists fire. I don't know if he resists earth. Does he?
I believe he does. I typically use white against him.
Yeah.
He
White
might
is
resist
kind of
earth as well.
the go-to damage for Stone Golem. So the reason we didn't hit that switch in the middle room here is because you could just jump across that tile. I don't know what the devs were thinking. I don't know if that's a feature of Tweak Frustrating Dungeons. But yeah, you don't have to hit that middle switch. So, welcome to Lava Dome floor. This is the route. You go all the way to the right, hop across, and then you're making your way basically all the way left. If you try to go left, you'll just hit a dead end. This is the only route through this floor.
Of course, they put a bunch of stuff in my way too.
They just want to make sure you're strong enough.
22.
What?
I'm pretty sure I'm good.
Hey, 2 more levels and you get another wizard charge. You'll be up to 6.
True.
Yeah. So ever since Link hit level 20, he's got 5 wizard charges now. 20 is also generally like the safe level that most of the runners like to call like the safe zone for finishing the game. That's like generally where you have enough charges to be comfortable and you have enough HP to get through most attacks. So yeah, it's generally like the safe level threshold to shoot for.
Yeah, I
So
think
here,
it was like with Moonhelm, I believe it's just laser that can kill you, one shot you at that point.
Yeah. Spider Kids will make you flinch, but it won't kill you. So ideally here you'll want to use meteors and white until you run out of charges. I like to pivot to using arrow after I run out of meteor cast if it comes to that. Some folks like to just use a seed and start using meteors again. I like to shift to arrow because it's about the same damage as a white cast on Wyvern here, while also just not having to take time to use seeds. But Wyvern is weak to water and wind. Do not build a snowman on Wyvern. It'll waste more time than it'll save. It doesn't do enough damage, and the animation is stupid long. It's like a 4 to 5 second cast animation for snowman.
Yeah.
All right, this is a floor you can fall on. We'll make
When
use
you're
of
on
that
the-
later.
Yeah, when you're on the first floor, when you're on this like upper floor, you can't fall off anymore. But the first floor, you 100% can fall off.
Yep. So almost everything on this floor is going to be weak to wind. Those three-headed Cerberus, the green Cerberuses, are weak to fire damage. So the ideal method here is just white and flare, tried and true. These Cerberuses also give a ton of XP. This formation here is going to be super rich in XP. Nice, showing off the weakness to fire.
I ran out of wizard charges and I forgot to see it.
It's fine. It happens. I mean, you got through the fight. You won. A win's a win. We take the dub.
All right.
And then you go through this tunnel, up and around, all the way. So that is the quickest way to Zuh. There is a chest over there on the left-hand side, you might have noticed. For any of our AP runners in the community, take note of that chest. That can technically be an AP check. So just be aware. So for Jerkbird, round 2, Electric Boogaloo, he's accompanied by 2 annoying enemies. Thankfully, they go down pretty quickly to wind damage. All 3 of these enemies are weak to wind. And you just want to fry yourself a turkey. Psy Shield's a glitched attack. You will love to see it. I think the only thing that Zuh has over Pazuzu is Doom Dance. Almost on cue. Damn. I did not coordinate that, I promise. I didn't know it was coming. But yeah, Doom Dance is a big equalizer in terms of just something that can make your day bad. But you got Thin Chicken.
Yes, that was a very thin chicken. Zuh did not do his workout beforehand.
Yeah. So making our way through that fight, you want to fall right here. So this will put you on floor 5 where you can instantly grapple across and then hop. This is faster than re-navigating that big circular pattern on floor 6. So that is optimal standard castle movement there. And that chest right there has 25 seeds. The chest right next to it, next to the door here, is 25 heal potions. The one on the other side has cure potions. And the one on the far left, I think, has refreshers too, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
Like 10?
I know the
it
heal
has
potions.
ammo.
Yeah, the heal potions I showed off specifically. If you're up here without, say, heal or life on Ben, you want to grab those so you do have heal potions for any potential status effects that Dark King might throw at you.
Yep. So phase 1, the phases of King roll individually of each other on how much HP they have. So just because you have a thin phase 1 doesn't necessarily mean you have a thin King. It could just be how the HP was distributed amongst the phases. Take note, phase 2 is poorly programmed in the sense that none of the elemental weapon attacks are actually elemental damage. So if he hits you with the fire sword or the thunder sword and you have thunder or fire resistance, you'll still take full damage. There's no side skirting that raw damage. That's part of the reason that makes phase 2 so spooky, is because he just puts out a lot of raw damage. Just a lot of it. And this is another part right here, confused Phoebe. So hopefully, okay, he killed her. That's actually kind of ideal. If Phoebe had lived, she has a chance to wipe the party. There's nothing you could do about it. Unfortunately, that's just RNG. No party member is immune from confusion. He's just putting the works to her.
Yeah, he also rolled. His speed's got to be close to vanilla because he's like outspeeding her almost every round too. That's
Yep.
not normal.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's part of Randomizer. This is a dangerous situation to be in. Thankfully, Link won the gamble. Mega Flare is actually ideal with what we want to see on Ben because it resists half the damage.
Okay,
Nice.
now this is bad with what just happened.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's wait and see what happens. So Mega White. Thankfully, he anticipated Phoebe potentially going down, so he precasts. Oh, he didn't.
No.
Never mind. So we're at low HP. Yep, that's a wipe. So that is unfortunately just something that can happen. This is why we call Dark King the Great Equalizer, especially with vanilla moveset. You can try to be preemptive, and there are defensive strats you could take here. So there is something we call Madam President strats, where Link could literally, from phase 3 on, literally just defend Phoebe the entire rest of the fight, and then triage accordingly, so that Ben is the only one ever hit with webs or damage or anything. It is slower, but it's consistent. You can also try to precast life in anticipation for bad situations, but that's a hard read. And sometimes you'll just kind of waste a turn. So those are what you have to kind of grapple with the situations that 3 and 4 King throw at you. Yeah, phase 3 and 4 were looking pretty healthy, so it's like where all of his HP rolled.
Okay.
And so, nice preemptive read on Link's part here. So he had a feeling that Ben was going to go down.
I
So
did
he
Madam
precast life.
I did protect the president's strats there.
Nice.
I knew he was going down, especially with how much like. Typically, Phoebe 2 will outspeed King most of the time. This is the first time I've just seen it where King's just on 50 to 100 is almost always outspeeding Phoebe.
Yeah. So that's something that can happen, but with that knowledge, you can adjust accordingly. So again, Madam President strats here. We're going to body block with Ben, cast the life on him to get him back up, probably body block for a second round to top up Phoebe, then get back to the damage. Does it cost you a couple turns of triage? Absolutely. Is it better than taking a death? Absolutely. So, yeah, body block, double cast cure, everybody's maxed out. We're good to go. Oh, you got lucky, you didn't body block, but yeah, that's the idea there. Into silver webs. Who instantly broke out of confusion. Nice. Yep, so we're going to preemptively cast life here, just in case she goes down. That poison tick would have killed her.
They would have.
Yeah. But it did not. God, he is gunning for her. It's like almost like he knows that she's the real danger in this fight.
Yeah, like he doesn't care about Ben at all. Like the only time he's attacking Ben is quite literally, it's like, okay, I'm casting Mega White now. It's like, okay, you're just collateral damage at this point.
Yeah, and if you see any like damage biases, I mean, firstly, it's all random. I don't think the game knows to focus a party member, but like you could try to play into that. Nice defensive strats.
There we go.
Yeah. And that is, don't sleep on defend. Defend is a great command, especially in situations like this, where you just need someone to eat a hit for the team. And that's time. So 100% check, 105.11. Like, that is probably the longest that this flag set will take an experienced runner. That being said, this definitely could have been done faster, but for the sake of showing off everything, we wanted to go through it all. Now, we do have a second flag loaded up. Link is going to go ahead and get that set up now, and we will go through this as fast as possible. So let me reset the tracker.
Yep. Now we're going to zoom.
Yeah, now we're zooming. And feel free to ask questions as we go through this. Obviously, I was trying to track at the same time. But if you guys have any questions about the decisions that we're making during this, or why we do things a certain way, please ask. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this whole
especially now,
showcase.
because like before we were doing it to where we didn't care about, or we cared about logic. We didn't do anything out of logic. I'm pretty sure we stayed completely within logic on that one.
Mhm.
This one, on the other hand, we will be like, odds are we will be breaking logic. If I have sword, claw, bomb, and ice pyramids there, we're probably going in ice pyramid, regardless of whether or not I have the mirror and things like that.
Correct. So now that we've shown you where everything is and why things are the way they are, let's run this proper. So I'll count you down. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go. And I'll wait for the stream delay to hit the timer. There we go. All right, it's bomb start. Bomb start is pretty ideal. That's what we like to see in terms of a start, just because it gives you high damage and AoE potential out the gate. So if you have to take any of these battlefields or any of these early fights, you're almost guaranteed to finish them in one turn. That is why bomb is ideal. Cat Claw is actually kind of the worst one to start with. It has the lowest damage. It does have paralysis as an option available, but it's still not reliable in terms of damage output.
Also, assuming that you don't have any kind of map shuffles or you already have access to Bone Dungeon, it does give you full access to all of Bone Dungeon immediately.
Correct. If you don't have bomb start, you either are going to find bombs in this region or you're going to find a coin. And if you find a coin, you have to go find bombs. I've had seeds where it's taken me 40 minutes to find bombs. So if you don't start with bombs, don't forget that Bone Dungeon exists. But we got Tristram. We're going to check Steel Shield. Check here. Elixir. All right. And we'll see what Tristram is handing us. Lovely. You have out of logic access to Aquaria and full logic access to Fireberg. Congratulations.
Yep. Decisions.
Correct. So the reason I say out of logic access to Aquaria, because he has Gemini Crest now, Link could technically go to Fireberg and go to the vendor's house, go in the basement, and warp to the Aquaria vendor, and then have full access to the Aquaria continent to make a lot of checks. That is out of logic. The game right now is telling him, hey, you got stuff in Fireberg that'll get you to go mode. That is it. But if he wants to, he can go to Aquaria and get those checks early. Taking a fight here so he doesn't fight Rex at level 1, something that we've all done at some point and gone, oh, I shouldn't have done this. But, it happens to the best of us. At least at level 2, you'll be able to live through some attacks.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Where at level 1, you'll almost not live through any of the attacks.
I was expecting another hidden skeleton to get me. I was like, nope, no skeletons. Like, all right, well,
Yep.
I need to kill something.
No Skelly boys. We got lucky with the attacks here. We love to see Tristram get hit. Fun fact, Tristram has the highest HP scaling out of all 4 partners for some reason. Like, if you line up all the partners at the same level, Tristram has the most by far. Like, he has the highest HP growth. I don't know why, but he's fast and he's chunky. And less than 3 minutes in, we're already done with Bone Dungeon. We timed this cutscene. It's like 15 seconds, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Ooh, Kitty Cat Claw and a tin can. So logically, you have mines on the table. He's got Lava Dome on the table because unfortunately Lava Dome is always on the table because you don't need any weapons to get to Hydra. Volcano's on the table because you don't need any weapons again.
Logically, no, but yes.
Oh,
No,
yeah, because
yeah.
you don't have
We don't have
mask.
maps, but that again, we don't care about that right now. We also have this battlefield, which that's what we're doing because
levels and free item.
Yeah, and I definitely need the levels if we're doing Firebird, because Firebird at level 3 isn't going to go too well.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to be around level 7. I mean, level 6 to like 8 before you go into Firebird. You could do it at lower levels if you have like mega grenades or something. Like if you have the firepower to live through a lot of the stuff and kill enemies quickly. But anything lower than level 5 is a little sketchy in Firebird.
Yeah, especially
if you don't have a good partner.
Yeah, bombs and a cat claw are current firepower. That's not going to work out too well.
Yeah, like in this scenario here, if I didn't have, like if I don't have firepower, I would take Tristan to Fireberg, level him up to tier 2, and then make the rest of my checks. Or grab Ruben. One of those two. And we get... Hey, T-Rock. Thunder Rock and Captain Cap... Yeah, Thunder Rock and Captain's Cap have the worst stigma out of the Go Mode items just because they can literally be anywhere. Like, outside of the last couple sections of the game, they can be in any location, logically. So they're kind of the Waldo of our Go Mode items. No item battlefields. There it is. Tristan is handing out Libra Crest. So again, another item that we could technically go to Aquaria with our out of logic checks with and go knock out a couple checks. Also pick up Phoebe. We'll see if you decide to do that. Oh yeah, you don't have enough cash for the vendor, do you?
I have no... Well, yeah, I've just got a little bit of cash from the 5 fights I've taken.
Yeah. Forester region enemies don't give hardly any money. I do not recommend grinding for cash from them. $900 GP, nice.
Good enough.
Yeah, that is good enough money.
Let's see if I can get this. It'll help out.
Take some levels, yeah, for sure. You'll get ambushed, but
I want to see. Okay, cool. It did happen.
yeah,
You get to go
Ruben
over the
is
small little
stronger.
glitch.
Oh, what happened? Let me see.
The double level.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, it just happened on stream. So that is double level. What happened there was Link was at the right XP threshold to gain a level from that battle. If that happens when you clear a battlefield and get the battlefield reward, you will gain a second level, irregardless of how much XP you have. Now, that being said, you still need to earn the difference in XP to get to level 9 at this point, but you just get to level 8 early. Nice battle axe.
I don't know. I mean, technically it's vanilla battle axe, so they got the multi-key for it, so...
What was vendor selling? I missed what she was
the
selling.
multi-key.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're going to go to Volcano here, check the white chest. Sand coin. There we go. Aquaria is now in logic. Yeah, I was like on the fence about taking the battlefields, but it's just 2 fights. Not the end
Yeah,
of the
it's
world.
2. This one's not terrible. If it was the one further up to the north of this one, then I'd be I don't know. But I do have a battle axe, so and level 8, I'm doing a lot better than what I was, so it's like it's good enough at this point.
Correct.
To where I can take it.
Yeah, Knight Sword or Battle Axe here are like the bare minimum for taking out these battles in a relatively quick amount of time. If you have literally nothing else. I guess in the worst case, you could crank out a couple snowmen. That still feels bad, man, but it's better than nothing.
If I had them.
Yeah.
All I have is cure and heal still.
Oh, 4 battles on red caps and salamanders.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, we're definitely okay.
Yeah. Red caps and salamanders are like the nastiest combo that you get for some reason. I mean, ghosts and skeletons are kind of bad, but yeah. Hey, Captain's Cap. Red caps and salamanders, for some reason, just get nasty combinations on you.
I heard you like confusion.
Yeah. Or paralysis. Don't forget the paralysis.
Yeah, that too. That's the thing.
Yep. So if you have out of logic access to this region and you come in through the warp, please don't forget to come back in the focus tower to make this check. Because you would have missed white for who knows how long.
It could have been a while.
Yep, I'm picking up Phoebe here just so we can have her when we go check Wintry Cave, because technically that is in logic. Hey, on cue. So a little change from vanilla. Wake water thaws the whole region. We didn't talk about it last time, but yeah. Instead of just thawing out the little plant and unthawing the region after you defeat Golem, it just made sense to have Wake Water do what it was intended to do, like what they thought it would do in the vanilla game, and have it thaw out the whole region. So Linkalot is setting up here for what we call a save scum. So he's going to set a save point here at in town and go all the way down to Spencer. If he does not get anything that's helpful from Spencer, he is going to reset his console to save time backtracking up these stairs, because he does not have exit available. Survey says, yeah, that's a reset.
Goodbye.
Yeah, Quake is not worth it. And so that is infinitely faster than trying to walk back up the steps. So we have Falls Basin available. I'm going to go ahead and knock out Mr. Krabs here because we have Battle Axe. And that is going to do a good amount of damage on top of Phoebe killing the fish with fire. This would be a nice little crab boil. And again, making use of that 3-pillar setup here to get to Mr. Krabs quickly. Gonna do a quick top off. Not even gonna bother with the seeds. The battle axe should be enough without white.
Yeah, seeds are still kind of a commodity with only 3 of them, so I don't really want to burn them unless I have to.
No, we didn't talk about seed duping, did we?
Not yet. My favorite place to seed dupe is Ice Pyramid, so I'm going to see if I can go in there after this.
Yep, I love making it a mini game. So if you go into Ice Pyramid without Magic Mirror, a lot of us will play the mini game of seed duping. Every time you make a bump into an enemy, you can walk around. And while we're at the battles here to get some cash, I'll talk about it. The way you seed dupe in this game is you start a fight with your partner on manual. You then use Ben to use a seed either on yourself or your partner. And then when it goes to have you put the inputs in for your partner, you back out all the way by pressing B and then run from the fight. If you can successfully run from the fight, or if not even, the game will give you a +1 to your seed count. And that is what we call seed duping. So anytime Ben is unable to complete the consumption of a seed action, it'll give you +1 seeds. There's some speculation on how that works. My theory is the game, every time you go to use a consumable, queues up 2 and then subtracts, queues up 1 and then subtracts 2 because spaghetti. And because you interrupt the process of subtracting 2, but have still queued up +1, that's what results in adding a consumable. I don't think we've ever confirmed that, but that's just like my theory, and I think even Ham's like, that sounds right. It's good enough.
Good enough. Common thread on this. It's good enough. We get through it.
Correct. So speaking of common threads here, Squidite on vanilla settings is just kind of free. He is calamari waiting to be chopped up and consumed. He's never really that bad, like that big of a deal. That being said, he has one of the most problematic move sets out of the entire like mini boss pantheon. If his moves get put on anybody stronger than him, specifically 6 pseudopod slap.
Good old 6 pseudopods.
That move will instill some PTSD in some of the runners who run Randomizer.
Yes.
Because its damage scaling is based off your max HP. So if King has 6 pseudopod slap, that's like an easy 900 to 1,000 damage. He's just hitting you in the face with.
Mhm.
So right now you're like probably wondering where Link's going. We have access to Windia and we have access to tier 2 Phoebe. No other checks take priority over getting Phoebe upgraded to tier 2. Period. Like, you might want to dip down here and do Suncoin because it's convenient. After that, though, we're going straight to upgrade Phoebe, and we'll have her in the party for the rest of the run.
Other than like potentially grabbing Ruben for like doing a check or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, yeah.
Having a partner at high level with 10 casts of white is just it's unmatched. There's no one else who brings quite that much to the table. And Survey says she is selling Flare. Yes, I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, I will buy that. Okay. So all of the money for the rest of the seed is going to seeds. So.
Correct.
And just because I know I'll forget, I'm gonna do the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah. If you ever make a trip to Windy and you have the Thunder Rock in your inventory, it never hurts to just go ahead and build Rainbow Road unless you have shortcut turned on, which Thunder Rock then kind of turns into a dud check. Kinda. Very few situations where Spencer's Cave has what you need, or ship for that matter. Good formation here, minus the fish. We never like to see fish. Skeletons, man.
Yep, they know who the threat is.
Halloween's over. No spooky scaries. Ooh, unfortunate. So yeah, I say nice formation, and then he gets confusion locked there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That is a hazard of going into fights in this region without having your spell charges topped up. Happens to the best of us. Honestly, I wouldn't risk that fight again, and he's not going to. Instead, we're going to check Giant Axe chest. Hey, Venus Key. So that opens up North Focus Tower. You could technically retread down to Spencer's Cave if you wanted to. Might need to.
Might need to.
But you actually have a lot on the table in terms of checks you can make right now.
I
So
do. I certainly do.
you got Medusa, you got Hydra, Jin. Well, Charm Claw. You can get Jin out of the way to do Ruben's check. There's Battlefields. Still can't do Pyramid.
Yeah, I can.
No Pokey Stick. Did you
I got a
get a
Night
Pokey
Sword.
Stick?
Yeah, I got a Night Sword.
Oh, okay, I missed it. Thank
From
you.
something. Yeah, I got a Night Sword from something. Now, if we're talking logic, Ice Pyramid's not on the play, but also that whole idea of going to Spencer's, driving down there, that's not going to happen. I promise.
Hey, Megas. Now you don't have to.
That's why it's not going to happen. Okay, well,
Again.
that sad. Oh well.
The runner being from the future. Meteor's nice. And Magic Mirror. There we go. Pyramid's back in logic.
Also, one thing to note to kind of save you some time, you can change your weapons before you actually have control of Benjamin during like loading screens. So, like if you know like you're entering Pyramid, you don't have sword equipped, you can kind of swap the sword while you're loading in.
Yeah, there's a couple frames where you're prevented from being able to walk with Benjamin. So but for some reason the game lets you swap weapons, like Link said.
Yeah.
So while you're stuck in place and you got nothing better to do, you'll notice a lot of us will swap weapons while we're transitioning through doors or locations, just because it's a better use of the time than doing nothing. And with Phoebe 2 here, this is going to be a very trivial dungeon, especially since you have Flare.
I don't have any
So guys, if you...
player, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got seeds, don't you?
I have 2 seeds. I'm saving them.
Yeah, just dupe some seeds. Dupe like 2.
That takes time, though.
Eh.
And now I'm not going to bonk into things, unfortunately. That's why I didn't want to find the magic mirror. I was like, actually sad to see the magic mirror, but... And Phoebe's white is going to kill everything. Like, nothing is surviving Phoebe's white.
True. You should probably have enough charges to get through this entire dungeon with just Phoebe's charges of white.
I might have to use 1 seed. Because she only did have 5 because I didn't, like, get rid of her and then pick her up. So she kept her charges from being her first form.
Yeah, but you could just save them until right before Golem, and then... Yeah, should be good.
That's why I'm hoping
We'll
there's
see
not
what
more than, like, 5 monsters in the way. 1 more at this
We'll see
point
what-
now.
We'll see what Bridge looks like. Yeah, Bridge doesn't look bad, just a Sphinx in the way. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything that's happened so far, please fire away. I just realized your armor is looking very, very sparse.
Yes. Hey, another piece. I've hit spooky territory.
Hey!
That's why I've hit
You're
spooky
so cool.
territory.
Yeah, you're so close to go mode. Without having any of the niceties for that go mode.
Uh-huh.
So again, here on this bridge, you can see Link walk up and then just jump over the gaps. A lot of times, just hold down B will get you up. It's technically a little bit slower to walk. I mean, to jump instead of walking, but it's like half a frame with the speed hack. So
And it's
it is what it is. Yeah, much safer. Unless you want to save half a frame, chat, then by all means, walk on that one gap instead of just holding jump. Crystal get. Hey, there's a little bit of an armor for you. French vanilla. If you ever hear of us say something is French vanilla, well, all that means is that it's in the technical, like, overall dungeon that it's supposed to be in, but it's in a different location than what it's supposed to be. So French vanilla noble armor there means that it wasn't in the noble armor chest, but it was in Ice Pyramid. So looking at what you have here, trying to think of the plays.
The play that I don't
Lava-
want to do, but I'm going to do it.
I was about to say Lava Dome looks the best.
No.
Kind of.
I promised I was going to do it, but we're going to do it.
I'll see now. I'm curious. Oh, you're doing Spencer's Cave. Okay. At least you
So
set
the
up a safe scum.
Well, yeah. So the reasoning behind this right now, I'm Dragonclaw from Go mode. Almost everything in Windy is locked by Dragonclaw with the exception of this chest and the vanilla Mobius. So if I find Dragonclaw there, it stops me from essentially clearing any of Firebird, but...
Yeah, Steel Sword.
Yeah.
So let's see. Now we have a lot you can
Right.
do. You can do
Firebird.
mines. Yeah, basically all of Fireberg. You have mines. You have Medusa. You have Lava Dome. I mean, you're the runner. What's your logic here?
Buy seeds. That's the first thought. If I have 1 seed right now, it's buy seeds.
Yep.
And then at that point, Medusa's probably the quickest check to finish an area, but the first checks in Lava Dome are going to be quicker. So that's kind of the idea is...
Yeah, and then Ruben and Aaron would be the slowest checks to make in this region because you have to fight a boss. Then, depending on whether or not you took Ruben with you or decided to come back and grab Ruben after freeing Aaron, you'd have to run all the way back with him.
There's
So,
also this one, too. I forgot. You'll
Yep.
see. Really?
oh yeah, Battlefield. This will now be trivial
Sort of.
after getting. The other reason we hate this Battlefield is because the ambush rate on it's just high for some reason. We don't know why. Cupid lock it for the win. No, you don't have insomnia. Now you're confused and asleep, but you're not confused because wow, you're getting sleep locked. This is why we hate red caps.
Yep.
Because they're not threatening on their own, but for some reason, the high ambush rate on them, especially when it's duo red caps, can put you in status element lock for an obscene amount of time that you just don't want to deal with. This is actually the best formation to get for this fight. This is the double red cap salamander, because for whatever reason, the ambush rate's really low. Hey, you didn't get ambushed. Jumbos.
We don't need those.
No, we do not. All right. Dome it is.
At least the first 2 checks. I'm thinking if I want to dive the whole thing right now.
Yeah. You hit the switch before you leave?
Yeah, I'm gonna at least hit the switch before I leave.
Yeah, so if you,
it would be a waste of time to go check the chest and be like, all right, I'm not going to check the rest. It's just open it up at the very least.
yeah, and that's the general best practice for this location, chat. If you decide to fade, as in not check Hydra, at least hit the switch before you leave, because that'll save you like a secondary dive in. Hopefully Moon Helmet check here has what you need. We'll see. Gaia armor is not what you need, but that's very nice to have.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm thinking of how I want to do checks right now. I think I know.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what he can't do right now. He cannot do Mount Gale, cannot do Pazuzu Tower, and cannot check Giant Tree. So what's left to link a lot here is Hydra, Charm Claw in Mines. He can then, after he beats Jin, do Ruben check and also save Aaron to make that check. So that's 4 checks available. If he Medusa's a check, that's check 5. If he finds Tree Wither at any point, that opens up 2 checks for Kaylee because he's already got Elixir. So that is another option available as well. We'll see what he gets. You're just gonna stop by Medusa? Nah. Picking up the homebody. You have enough firepower. This should be doable.
Yeah, that was my idea. So, like, mine has 3 checks with Ruben with me, so I don't have to do a double dipping of it. So it's just like, it's the best play. It's the quickest to get the checks. And because of that, it's odds are I'm going to find it with these.
Yeah. You also have multi-key, so you have access to Windia to get Phoebe back quickly through Hermit House.
Yep.
Trunclaw is Thunder, not what we want to see. So we're going to go fight Jin. Level 14 is more than enough for the big mean genie. Oh, you also need Skycoin.
I do still need Skycoin. I forgot about that. That would have been fun.
Yeah, why can't I open this
It's like,
door?
wait, oh yeah, that's right. Oops, I need that thing.
I need the key to the door. In chat, during this week, if any of you want to use any of the voice channels in the Discord and run seeds together, I highly encourage it. Not only to kind of, have the banter of talking with someone who's also going through this with you from a community standpoint, but also just, having fun, spitballing ideas off each other, or having like a low-key like race with each other. I mean, when I first joined the community, I raced against Joker a lot, just casually, and we streamed it, but it was still really fun to just sit down with someone in voice, talk through your decisions, or not talk through your decisions, and just, have that little fun competitive aspect of racing to help build yourself up. So I encourage you guys to use the voice channels. That is more than open to anybody who wants to use those in the Mystic Quest Discord. You just got Tree Wither.
Also, I want to shout out Jin missing a sleeping target.
It's like he thought he was playing possum, but if he was playing possum, he'd have way worse luck. Sorry, I couldn't resist a little dig at Possum Morpheus. Shout outs.
Of course.
That's a nice get. Venus Shield's not a bad get.
No, I'm liking my armor situation significantly better than what I was before.
Yeah, Mega Flare is still going to hit you like a truck because you don't have either of the helmets, but you're almost all the nasty status ailments besides petrification are now nullified. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And you also have Kaylee available. So, I mean, if you're not feeling so great about Gold Webs being on the table, you could take Kaylee to the end. You're offensively loaded up.
I mean, with the way Dark King was treating Phoebe the last time, that might actually just be a good idea.
Yep. And these are the little considerations. Like, we're talking about these, we're spitballing these ideas, chat. These are the little considerations you make when you're running. It's like, legitimately, with this setup, Kaylee's a viable option. Like, yes, Phoebe would technically do all the damage, but if you're worried about not having Aegis Shield before you go in, take Kaylee too. Living is better than dying and doing damage.
Not to mention to add in the fact that I still don't have life either. So
Yeah.
I have heal, so like I can do status ailments, but I'm not doing much else.
Correct. And every partner has life. Hey!
I'm actually happy I found that first.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. So the reason Link, let's talk about that comment for a second.
Yeah.
The reason Link said that he liked the fact that he has Dragon Claw to be his last go mode check is because it still eliminates all the annoying locations in Windia that he would have to check, including Giant Tree. He no longer has to do P Tower for go mode. He no longer needs to do Tree for go mode, and he doesn't have to do Mount Gale for go mode. This significantly lowers his possible locations for go mode. So really, it's just, I think it's Hydra or Medusa.
Hydra,
point,
Medusa,
or
there's
Spencer's
this
Cave.
battlefield. Yeah, there's a couple places still that I can.
Yeah. Anything but the big three annoying places. Like, it could technically be, Claw could be on Max ship. Do you want to make that play? Just so we can show it off?
No comment.
Ah, cheater.
That's no comment. It's like, I want to, but I can't, because...
Yeah.
Right.
So, you technically don't need Dragon Claw to get on the Max ship. So, we have had a couple times where Dragon Claw has been on Max ship. Because you don't normally think about that being the situation. We've had a couple people get locked for a little bit, not realizing that that's an option. Hey, look at that. Spencer holding out the best item in the game.
I would rather have life right now, but yeah, okay.
You know what? I'm holding out for a boy Mac. I think Mac might have life for you. Or Aegis Shield. It could be in the Aegis Shield check. We've seen life hang out in Doom Castle before.
We have. I still have the seed where I know it's definitely there, because I'm never going to forget it was there.
Yeah, that's the seed that I got into the randomizer with.
It was when everybody learned that, yes, there can be critical items climbing up Doom Castle.
I mean, look, son, for being a commentator in this community, I will say that I giveth and I taketh away with my comments. So I can give curses or blessings. It's just a matter of my speculation and whether or not I decide to voice it on air. Sometimes I'll hold off. Other times I'll do it just because. I know I don't have any real power, but sometimes, you know, it's funny to think I do. Yeah, for 5 gift subs to FFR, I will curse whatever runner you want me to curse on stream. Commentator's curse. That's a joke, by the way. I don't have that power. Yeah, no, I definitely had a couple commentator moments in SGL where I spoke some nasty things into existence. Apologize to the runners. In fairness, they had already done what I spoke into existence 10 minutes ago. Nice, going for the cure there.
I forgot to take
Mac
it
sh-
off.
It's fine. Mac is also a really nice location to grind for XP. Ship has lamias, which have a lot of XP for no reason and are super easy to fight. Ooh, your stream froze up a little bit. One second. Oh no. All right, pause. So Link's PC just crashed. Give him a second to be right back. We'll get up and running and we'll finish the seed. I'll pause the timer here. While he's getting set back up, chat, let's go ahead and talk about what is going to happen next. So Link is going to get through Mac's ship. We'll see what Mac's chest is hiding. Hopefully it's life. Regardless, Link is going to turn in Hat, and we're going to make our way to Doom Castle. We'll check Aegis Shield chest if he doesn't get life out of that. Mostly because we're still missing Helmet and we're missing Aegis Shield. I think after that, though, it's straight to the end, and we'll work with that as we go. So this is still on track to be about a 45-minute to 50-minute seed. In terms of estimates for y'all, especially our new players, do not be discouraged if you are like in the hour and a half to 2 hour range when you first start running these flags, please. I do not want to set the precedent that y'all are going to be clearing these in an hour. If you are, awesome. I really, really think that's great for y'all. And hopefully you stick with it. If you are clearing in like hour and a half to 2 hours, like I said, don't get discouraged. That's just kind of par for the course. I think my first flag that I ran of the weekly, I cleared in 2 hours and 10 minutes ish on a weekly seed, 2 hours 15. Your first flags might take a little bit of time, so make sure you set aside that time accordingly. Yeah, it's just a matter of building the muscle memory. Yeah, and we'll see if he gets lifeless and ageless when he gets back, because he could very much have to deal with that, and this will be a great tutorial on how to make the Dark King fight work without those items.
Meanwhile, I'm just happy my internet gremlins thing didn't need to be adjusted. The one player screen.
Good enough. Good enough for the stream. Yeah. And I guess talking to this, so for anybody who does any sort of reboot should fix it. For anybody who does any sort of tournament racing or any racing in general, please, please, please make sure that you are recording locally. Especially in SGL settings. So if you decide to do SGL 2026, make sure that you're recording locally. It's not going to help if your entire PC crashes, but if you lose network connection, you can at least finish the race and then submit the VOD that you recorded locally for review, and then we'll time you accordingly based off that. But I mean, hard PC crash, unfortunately, you're going to have to DNF. That's the reality of the situation. Unless your opponent is okay with a reset, in which case we can accommodate that for you. Welcome back, Link.
I'm back.
Hopefully everything
Stream
is
should be
looking
back
good.
up as well.
Okay, I'm waiting on Stream Link to catch up with it.
Yeah, I lost a little bit of progress. I'm just redoing the battlefield right now. That gave me
Okay.
life. So
Oh, that battlefield you were on when you crashed.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, Hatox was like being able to showcase lifeless ageless would be nice, but yeah, that's not happening.
no,
I had a feeling you'd get it. You didn't have a lot of checks left. I mean, what is it? 3, 4.
I mean there was only 3 checks. I was like, I'll do the battlefield because one, I need levels still, because my levels are were extremely sketchy for going in with no ages, no life, no anything.
There you
Yeah.
And as soon as the stream pops back up here, I will. Yep, there we go. Mike, we didn't miss anything.
Yeah, pretty much like I guess this is exactly where I was when I crashed. So
Yeah, different
But-
formation, but he's fine.
audio should be back for chat. Go back to me.
Thank you, Sunflash. Yeah, chat, let us know if the music's working. Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, I can't hear it in the booth, so. There we go. All right, survey says Mac has Excalibur. So unless Aegis Shield is vanilla, you're going to have to do this without Aegis Shield.
it's fine.
You
What's
do
the
any
worst
see-
that happens?
Gold webs.
Sure, we'll deal with it. It's fine.
Yep. This
I have
is
life
fine.
now. It's fine.
Yeah, true. You do have the second biggest safety net now.
Yes.
Are you gonna check Aegis Shield?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it.
I don't blame you. And 17's not bad. 17's super doable. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be probably 19. So.
By the time you finish the gauntlet, you will be. Unless
Yeah.
you get like some good formations. Well, not good, but if you hit some enemies going up, you'll probably be at 19 before you get to the
Yeah, it's true. I'm keep thinking it's the.
shortcut. Yeah, no.
I forgot to seed. Oh well.
I mean, this is a free fight, anyways.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well.
Hey, just claw a ninja. It's fine. RNG. RNG. Oh, it duplicated.
So that's something to notice.
Hey.
So that is something to note as well. Is if you, in this case, it would be petrify. I believe is what's actually killing them. They're
Yes.
still there, and they're counted for the split on damage. That's why you only saw white do 600 apiece.
Correct. Also, and it's not scientifically proven at all, but I do it anyways, that if you're going to go for a petrification kill on stream, to chant RNG.
I mean, I
I
wasn't
do
going
it.
for a petrification kill. I was just like, I have nothing. I'm just going to use a Dragon Claw because he's already got it equipped.
It worked.
Things died. That's all that matters.
Yep, that is all that matters. Ah, these ninjas. Yeah, thick boys. Oh yeah, you're definitely going to hit 19 before you get to Zug.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be 20 at this point. Yeah, especially if things want to keep doing this. Like, sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that plays into the XP routing as well, chat. Like, if you go into Doom Castle with standard Doom Castle formation, expect to at least get 2 or 3 levels. Like, enemies are just going to be in your way, and they are going to be decently rewarding XP. So, depending on your, like, even if you're at 2.5 or 2 times modifier, you'll still probably get like a level or 2, just because of how much XP is dropped in Doom Castle.
That's assuming Long Doom Castle. Again, it's been more rare to see Long Doom Castle, but we did feel it was good to showcase it, so that way if a seed does come up, it's not like, oh no, how do I get through Doom Castle? Because a lot of the floors are very maze-like. They are intended to get you lost and not know where you are.
Correct. The standard is boss rush. Even then, you'll still get like a level minimum. if not 2.
Jeez, okay.
I'm not seeing what's happening to you, but we'll see. Big dogs?
Yeah, we got thick dogs.
Yeah, big dogs. And you dodged the corrosion, though. Nice to see.
Yeah, I was happy about that. Although I probably shouldn't be because I'll get bad RNG on Dark Kingdom.
It's fine. It all comes out in the wash eventually. Nice clean movement through here, though. Yeah. If you're familiar with how long it takes to do vanilla, because you can avoid so many more encounters in the randomizer, that's what saves us so much time. Like, vanilla speedruns, what, like 2 hours? 2.5 hours?
Something like that?
Yeah. Where most of our seeds in rando you can clear in an hour or less. Unless you roll some like nasty stuff, but even then you're not running too much more than an hour. Once you get things under your belt. Like I said though, first seeds from folks, expect roughly 2 hours. Like even with these flag sets, just understand that you might not have everything memorized. You might make some mistakes. That's okay. Expect around 2 hours. And you are you're risking it.
Nah, it's only Wither. Nothing bad can happen.
Nothing bad at all.
So on the other hand, sure, everything bad can happen.
Doesn't he have a whirlwind attack where he hits both of you with arrow?
Maybe.
Oh, it's just a single target.
It's fine. Phoebe's got plenty of health.
Oh, he's only got the one fire breath attack. That's right.
Fine. Nothing terrible ever happens in Mystic West Randomizer.
No, nothing at all. No one's ever been stuck in a boss fight after being 5 minutes ahead of their opponent, only to get brick walled by going too fast. Ever.
Gotta pay the price.
You gotta pay the speed toll.
Speeding ticket. Let's see here.
It's okay. I used up all my RNG. I used up all my good luck at SGL.
I hope this is not a sign of things to come.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I see what you're talking about. It's fine, though.
Yeah. It's okay, we're getting that out of the way now.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, what's really going to
Probably.
make... I think the big thing to consider and for chat to understand is the big thing that is a deciding factor on King is his speed. Depending on how fast or slow King is, kind of makes your decision on how difficult or easy his webs are to deal with. Sure, Phoebe, that's a move. That's a reset. There we go. And yeah, the green Cerberuses are not free. That's why I usually like to use Flare here, because they're weak to fire. But
Well, it
White
wouldn't have helped on that last one, so.
correct. I was going to say, if you get petrified or confused before you can act, it doesn't really change much.
Nope. We have not learned how to let statues take turns yet.
Correct. Soon, TM.
Okay, level 20. So
Yeah, you're in a great spot. You'd be like what, 21 by the time you're done with this fight?
I might get 21 on this fight. We'll see.
We'll see. 4 times XP, you probably get 21.
Really?
I would be surprised if you don't hit 21. I now hear what the really was about.
Yep. I used all the good RNG on the test run when I had everything. Now the game's like, all right, you have nothing. Now we're gonna
Make it
now
work
we're gonna
for it.
we're taking the gloves off.
Yep.
Quite literally taking the gloves off.
So, for anybody who might not realize what handicaps Link-A-Lot is working with here, Besides terrible RNG, Linkalot is working with a handicap of not having petrification immunity on Ben, and he does not have fire resistance on Ben. So, Mega Flare is going to be a problem, and Gold Webs are going to be a problem. Silver Webs are going to be okay if they hit Ben. Everything else is kind of sketch. So, his defense is also going to be lower than it normally is. So, Spider Kid still might kill. I don't know if you're at that threshold or not.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep. So these are some of the instances where your armor is a pretty big factor. Dark King, this lack of armor can be the decider on whether or not Spider Kids kills you at this level range. Also, Thunder Sword on phase 2 might kill you.
Yes. Part of it is also, do I get hit? Part of it's going to also be, do I get hit with like an Iron Nail in phase 1? Because that'll reduce my damage, and I do not have refreshers right now. So.
Yep. So yeah, refreshers we haven't talked about because you haven't really gotten any of them, but they have a very niche use case. What refreshers do is if you take any status down effects during the fight, so defense down, magic down, attack down, using a refresher during a fight will restore your stats back up to what they are supposed to be. Because those effects do not persist from battle to battle, you will almost never see any of the runners in this community use refreshers commonly. But they do have niche cases where you've stacked up like 3 Iron Nails on Dark King. You're like, all right, that's too much. So those are the niche use cases. Also, remind yourselves, chat, that you do not need to top up after defeating Za, because going to statue will bring you back up. And I think he just crashed. Nope, never mind. We just had a stream delay. Your stream's just like freezing up. Yep, stream just went up.
Man,
Whoa,
I sit
time
back
warped.
down and I see the stream hiccup.
It's okay. All right, you're back just in time. Perfect, just in time for King. So yeah, you don't need to top up after Za unless there's an enemy in the way. Statue will always restore you to full. So let's see how this fight's going to shake out with these handicaps. Nice start. Skulls on King is not petrification or confusion. On phase 1, it's paralysis. So we'd like to see those on Ben. Phase 2 is just damage. So far as I could tell, there's no status ailments that are inflicted by phase 2.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so it's all raw damage in phase 2. So you can kind of take a breath, but the damage is pretty high. All right. Phase 3, 50% HP on Phoebe. This is all right. Nice speed. Mega White's not bad. See how the other turns play out. Did you roll a slow King?
Huh?
Oh, it's been
might
Mega
have.
White back to back. So I can't tell. Spooter Kids, you are just barely out of the threshold for Spider Kids.
Yeah, an iron nail would kill me.
Yeah, would have, but we're good now. No, that's a death. Yep, so that is what not having fire resistance does to a person with Mega Flare. Oh, you're in a loop now. So you notice that Link switched Phoebe to auto here. That is just to reduce the inputs required to get the life off on Ben. We know that the AI will always, always, always cast life on Ben so long as they have charges in a situation where Ben is dead. So instead of going through the inputs and manually doing that, you save a lot of time by just switching Phoebe to auto and hitting fight. You can also preemptively put Phoebe in auto if you think Ben is going to die and get a turn off before she goes. All right, now we're in spooky territory. So Link here switching the sword to hopefully get the speed bonus because we have a slow King. Nice, you got it off. Mega White seems to be a guaranteed party goes first turn. So again, knowing your speed advantages on King, capitalizing on that knowledge, switching to Sword, getting every advantage you can, puts him back in the running, puts him in a safe place. And we're basically playing triage Phoebe at this point. Ben is our main point of damage because Phoebe's outspeeding King on every turn, it looks like.
Yeah, so far.
Yep. And we're on to phase 4. That's something we don't want to see. Nice. I'll take it over anything else that could literally happen here.
Yep.
Yeah, the most dangerous enemy in Mystic Quest is not any of the enemies you fight, it's confused party members. They can do some just gnarly things to you. Oof, laser. Time. So 50-50, not bad.
Yeah, with like 5-ish minutes lost, 5-7 minutes, however long that was when because I lost the time, so I had to redo that plus get the computer back up. So
I paused the timer.
oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I still would have lost the time, so I'll call it probably like a minute or two from having to redo the battlefield and that fight.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's a good time, and hopefully chat you learned something from this showcase. So we're gonna go ahead and post the first week flags in the Shrug to Speed Discord channel, so y'all can practice. If you need any help or assistance, or just want to see if you can get some advice, please feel free to ping the companion role, so @companion, for any advice. And we will post a time for next Saturday to have our Race Time GG room. As a reminder for anybody who wants to participate in that, if you do not already have a racetime.gg account, please go to the site racetime.gg and create an account so you can participate in our weekly races for the Shrug to Speed event. And yeah, any of us companions should be available for any questions you have. We hope you all enjoy the seed, and we'll see you all next week. Link, you got anything for them?
No, I was just sorry about the crash, but I'm just gonna kind of echo. Hope everybody was able to learn something from this week 1, and like I said, we're gonna be getting more and more complex as we go throughout the week. We did just basic item red box shuffle here. I think off the top of my head, I know we added a little bit more, but I know brown box shuffle is on the table next week for sure.
Yep. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and give FFR their channel back. Thanks so much to Sunflash for restreaming for us. Thanks to Link for helping me make this program a reality. And thanks everybody for signing up. We hope this gets you geared up for any future events, and we'll be here all week to answer your questions. So with that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Have a good one, y'all.